Chapter 1044. Nanfeng Qing chose to join Nanfeng Ling's camp, but Nanfeng Ling would be the one to decide who would fight. Nanfeng Qing was the same as Nanfeng Ling, both of them were holy maidens with high hopes of entering the ancestral lands. The two of them were roughly equal in strength, and their assistants were all extremely powerful as well. If you can enter the ancestors' land of inheritance, I'll fight you there. Nanfeng Ling stared at Nanfeng Qing as she spoke. She sent one of her helpers to fight against Nanfeng Qing. That helper was extremely powerful and fought intensely against Nanfeng Qing. But in the end, he was still defeated by a slight disadvantage. Nanfeng Qing was victorious. Next, it was Nanfeng Qiu's camp. Nanfeng Qiu was a holy maiden and her strength was weaker than Nanfeng Qing. According to logic, she should give up her position and allow Nanfeng Qing to enter the ancestral lands. However, her assistant was extremely powerful and hence, she wanted to fight for it. From this point of view, even if she entered the ancestral lands, she wouldn't have a share of the inheritance. Du Han. Nanfeng Qiu stared at Du Han, still harboring a trace of hope. She didn't want to lose this battle. Even if she couldn't obtain the inheritance, she wanted to enter the ancestral lands to take a look. This was a rare opportunity and she would only have this one chance. If she missed it, there wouldn't be another. Entering the ancestral lands was the dream of every holy maiden. Don't worry, I won't lose. Du Han seriously spoke, staring at Nanfeng Qiu. Nanfeng Qiu nodded. The two of them glanced at each other, there was no need for words to be spoken. It wouldn't be bad if a couple could enter the ancestral lands. Sadly, Nanfeng Qiu wants to step on us and enter. But even if we lose, they still want to continue fighting. Jun Mengchen spoke in a low voice. After all, Nanfeng Qing had already won earlier and the remaining people weren't weak. Namhuang Yunxi nodded lightly. Nanfeng Qiu had already been defeated by Nanfeng Qing. She shouldn't have entered the ancestral lands. Qin Wentian, I will leave Du Han to you. Namhuang Yunxi spoke. Right. Qin Wentian nodded his head lightly. This Du Han's strength wasn't bad, his yin-yang saber arts were extremely powerful and he was a dangerous character. Although he wasn't as mysterious and powerful as Jiang Ziyu, he could also be considered a powerful character. In addition, he should be a genius that established a king-grade immortal foundation. Qin Wentian and Du Han walked up the Phoenix Arena together. Instantly, the eyes of the crowd flickered as they tried to guess who would emerge victorious. Du Han's cultivation base was at the second level of immortal foundation while Qin Wentian was at the first level. Up until now, both of them had never been defeated before. In addition, from a certain perspective, Du Han's role in Nanfeng Qiu's camp was even greater compared to Qin Wentian in Namhuang Yunxi's camp. Without Du Han, Nanfeng Qiu wouldn't have lasted until now and would have already been eliminated. But for Namhuang Yunxi's camp, regardless of Namhuang Yunxi or Jun Mengchen, neither of them had been defeated before. Du Han stood there and a sharp saber-like pressure bore down on Qin Wentian. His gaze was as sharp as his appearance, and his entire body exuded a dangerous aura. For this battle, I will win for sure. Du Han's words were as sharp as a blade. You are fighting for Nanfeng Qiu, I can understand your conviction. But since she chose Namhuang Yunxi, I will also protect the glory of Namhuang Yunxi. I will treat this battle seriously, and this can be considered as my respect to you. Qin Wentian slowly spoke. From your tone, you sound very arrogant. Du Han spoke. Qin Wentian seemed to be saying that he had never gone all out in a battle before. He would treat this battle seriously, that was all. Make your move. Qin Wentian spoke. Right. Du Han replied. As the sound of his voice faded, a strange phenomenon appeared in this space. In the void, many terrifying sabers appeared. The sabers that stretched across the void refracted a terrifying chill. The sabers were divided into two different intents. One exuded an incomparably cold underworld intent, while the other exuded a fiery red intent. The two intents fused together, intertwining, transforming into a yin-yang saber light that exuded a terrifying aura. Du Han stretched out his hand, grasping his saber. In an instant, a terrifying saber light directly slashed down, aiming for Qin Wentian. Even before the saber light was unleashed, the saber intent had already descended, wanting to create chaos in this space. Qin Wentian's entire body glowed with immortal light as runic inscriptions shimmered, resembling a fiend god armor. His physique was unparalleled, and when the saber intent slashed into him, it actually felt as though the saber intent had slashed into an indestructible armor. Terrifying sizzling sounds rang out. Everyone already knew that Qin Wentian had cultivated an extremely powerful body refinement art, causing his physique to be extremely terrifying, transforming into a fiend god body. Bzz. Du Han stepped out as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. In an instant, a supreme saber light slashed down, aiming for Qin Wentian's head. Such a powerful saber light was simply unimaginable. Du Han had yet to truly unleash his saber. Boom! Immortal light radiated from Qin Wentian as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. An even more resplendent halo enveloped him, circulating around Qin Wentian, causing everyone to feel that the current Qin Wentian was simply indestructible. That saber light slashed down, wanting to slice apart the heavens and earth. The sound of air being torn apart rang out, yet it had no way to break through Qin Wentian's defenses. Although its only saber intent, ordinary second-level Immortal Foundation experts wouldn't dare to block it. This man's immortal might is too powerful and his defenses are terrifying. The grade of his immortal foundation must be extremely high. Jiang Ziyu spoke in a low voice. Nanfeng Qingrua, who was beside him, smiled, glancing at Jiang Ziyu. Can his immortal foundation be higher than yours? Hard to say. Jiang Ziyu calmly replied, his words causing Nanfeng Qingrua's beautiful eyes to freeze. She cast a deep glance at Qin Wentian before asking, if you were to act, how long would you need to defeat him? I don't know, he hasn't used his full strength yet. But if it's only the strength he displayed earlier, it's still insufficient. Jiang Ziyu calmly spoke. Nanfeng Qingrua smiled, with you helping me, I will definitely be able to obtain the position of holy successor. On the Phoenix Arena, Du Han's aura grew stronger and stronger. The saber light in his hands swept through the heavens and earth, exuding a fearsome immortal might. His saber manifested a yin-yang diagram, ice and fire fused together, one yin and one yang. The energy of the entire heavens and earth frenziedly fused into his saber, exuding an incomparably fearsome might. At the same time, a supreme sword chi gushed forth from Qin Wentian as boundless sword might gushed forth from him. Both of them seemed to be enveloped by a gigantic screen of light, a screen of sword and saber light, exuding terrifying might. Du Han's saber moved, slashing out with a single slash, as light as a feather. Such a tyrannical saber art, yet the instant it was slashed out, it was so gentle and elegant. However, the might radiating from it caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. The yin-yang saber light swept through the entire space, enveloping everything. There was simply no way to evade. Such a saber art could only be blocked head-on. Qin Wentian stabbed out with his finger. With a single strike, sword chi gushed forth, converging onto his finger, colliding with the incoming saber light. In an instant, the collision transformed into two waves of supreme might as two terrifying screens of light appeared. The yin-yang saber light was incomparably resplendent while Qin Wentian's sword light was tyrannical and direct, capable of annihilating everything. The sword might contained within that finger contained a heaven-shaking destructive might. Du Han's saber actually had no way to continue slashing down. Boom, boom, boom. The power of their immortal foundations frenziedly gushed into the saber and the sword finger. Two fearsome currents of energy gushed forth, and if it wasn't for the screen of light protecting the Phoenix Arena, the wind of destruction would have already ravaged this entire space, tearing the earth apart. Slash! Du Han coldly roared. His saber pressed down once more, wanting to slash out. Qin Wentian took a step forward. A supreme light flowed to his fingertip as a fearsome destructive might pierced into the screen of light created by his opponent's yin-yang saber art. Break. Qin Wentian spat out a single word. Instantly, the saber light expanded frenziedly, slashing out in all 8 directions, no longer condensing together. After killing Qin Wentian, the momentum dissipated. Qin Wentian's finger slashed towards Du Han, breaking the saber formed from immortal energy. He stared at Qin Wentian in a daze. I've lost. After a long time, Du Han spoke in a low voice. Your strength is already considered not bad. Qin Wentian retracted his finger. As the victor, although he was advising Du Han, in the eyes of Du Han, it sounded more like mockery. Du Han had a self-mocking smile on his face. Your cultivation base is at the first level of Immortal Foundation, yet I was defeated by you. How is this not bad? After speaking, he directly turned and departed. Qin Wentian didn't say anything more. His words weren't fake. He established a perfect saint-grade immortal foundation, and the amplification of his immortal energy was terrifying. He could even suppress a king-grade immortal foundation. Qin Wentian returned and nodded his head to Namhuang Yunxi. Namhuang Yunxi's camp had advanced to the next round with a complete victory. Even if there was an extra battle, they would still be considered as a victory and would be able to enter the ancestral lands. Du Han walked to Nanfeng Qiu and spoke, I've disappointed you. Nanfeng Qiu was indeed a little disappointed. She had always placed high hopes on the ancestral lands, wanting to enter. Yet, she failed. Maybe, I chose the wrong opponent. Although Nanfeng Qiu was disappointed, she didn't blame Du Han. The fault didn't lie with Du Han. Her strength was inferior to Du Han, and if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have been able to reach this step. Before this, when the Holy Maiden acted, Namhuang Yunxi acted, as well as those who helped her, Qin Wentian or Jun Mengchen acted. She believed that given Du Han's strength, as long as he was a level higher, he would definitely be able to defeat either Qin Wentian or Jun Mengchen. But evidently, she was wrong. Alright, for those who failed, there's no need to be too disappointed. The Namhuang clan only produces a holy successor once every 100 years, it's very normal for you to fail. You guys just need to work hard in your cultivation. If you can accumulate enough strength, you would still be able to become a peak expert of our Namhuang clan in the future. The beautiful woman in the air persuaded. You guys can bring the geniuses to my Namhuang clan for a tour. As for those from the other 9 camps, they can follow the elders to the ancestral lands of the Namhuang clan. Everyone nodded. For those who failed, it was impossible for them to not be disappointed. They had lost the chance to enter the ancestral lands and would never know the situation inside. As for the victors, they were filled with anticipation. Numerous figures soared up into the air. These were all the elders of the Namhuang clan who were spectating the battle. The people from the other 9 camps also soared up into the air, landing behind them. Move out. An elder spoke in a low voice. A group of people flew out as the others followed after them. Namhuang Yunxi's eyes gleamed with intense anticipation. The competition would only get more intense from now on. She wondered if she would be able to seize the position of the holy successor or not. Qin Wentian was at the side. He could sense the anticipation and nervousness in Namhuang Yunxi's eyes. Chapter 1045. The ancestral lands of the Namhuang clan seemed to be located in the deepest parts of the Namhuang clan. The ancestral lands accompanied the Namhuang clan as they grew up in the immortal realms, existing together with the Namhuang clan. One could say that it was a supreme treasure of the Namhuang clan, nurturing generations of holy maidens. Although only one of these holy maidens could become the Southern Phoenix matriarch, the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan would grow stronger as time passed. They were the core characters of the Namhuang clan. Qin Wentian and the others soared through the air, and after some time, they arrived at a valley guarded by experts. This place seemed to be a sealed space with a gigantic bronze gate. Upon seeing the arrival of the group, the guards opened the gate and a rumbling sound rang out as an ancient pathway appeared. Let's enter. The elders of the Namhuang clan who led the group here opened up a path for them. After that, the group of them stepped into the bronze gate. After Qin Wendian entered, he discovered that there was a completely different world within. It was a gigantic mountain valley, and there were a few old women standing guard there. In front of the crowd, a bridge could be seen. This bridge led to an entrance ahead, and it seemed as though one could enter another dimension. Remember, you are not allowed to use immortal weapons in the ancestral lands. If a weapon is used, the owner of the weapon will be instantly killed. You must remember this. Nam Huang Yunshi reminded Qin Wendian and the two others. All of us can enter. Why did you only invite me earlier but they all invited 2 or 3? Qin Wendian asked. The quality of the protectors is not the quantity. How many elites are there in the entire southern region? Do you think the holy maidens of my Nam Huang clan know all of them? It's already not bad to be able to invite some of them to protect us. As for ordinary geniuses, they are completely useless. What's the point of inviting them? Nam Huang Yunshi continued, also, because for us holy maidens, even the strongest among us would have a cultivation base at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. Hence, the ancestral land would suppress one's cultivation base. Those with a cultivation base higher than the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation would only be able to unleash the might of a 3rd level Immortal Foundation expert. Hence, it's not like what you think. Doesn't that mean that we have to invite peak-level Immortal Foundation experts? Yes. Qin Wendian nodded his head lightly. The majority of these protectors were at the 2nd level of Immortal Foundation, with a few at the 3rd level. The one with the greatest threat should be one of Nan Fengshenge's protectors. Nam Huang Yunshi intentionally reminded him that this protector's name was Kong Yi and he was a descendant of an immortal emperor from the southern hell. He had established a king-grade Immortal Foundation and his combat prowess was extremely terrifying. Let's go. Everyone continued on their way, stepping onto the bridge. At the bottom of the bridge, they could see that the ground was actually scorching red, as though there was lava there. It was extremely terrifying, and the temperature was extremely high. They walked step by step towards the entrance of the ancestral land. The scorching heat blasted onto them, but although it was blocked by a mysterious barrier of light, Qin Wendian could still sense that this was a world of fire. Bzz, numerous figures flickered, there were already people rushing into the ancestral land. Let's go. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke. After that, they increased their speed, directly passing through the barrier of light and entering the ancestral land. They stared at the scene before them as their hearts trembled slightly. Parasol trees. Qin Wendian stared at this space. This entire space was filled with blazing parasol trees, intertwining with each other. This was a world of parasol trees, and also a world of fire. The entire space was scorching red, incomparably hot. In just an instant, everyone felt as though their bodies were about to be incinerated. The leaves of these gigantic ancient parasol trees drifted down, dancing in the air, creating a wondrous scene that was incomparably beautiful. Each and every leaf was extremely large, resembling the feather of a phoenix. They were so beautiful. Rumble. The bloodline power in Nam Huang Yunshi's body surged. Her entire body seemed to be engulfed in flames as the shadow of a phoenix appeared. Not only her, the other 8 holy maidens also did the same as Nam Huang Yunshi. They stepped forward, staring at the descending parasol leaves. In their eyes, it was as though each and every leaf contained an ancient imprint that could be imprinted into their minds. A beam of light flashed. Nam Huang Yunshi stared at that leaf. The mysterious energy contained within it required her to comprehend it. An instant later, Qin Wendian saw that the parasol leaf transformed into a dazzling beam of fiery light, attaching itself onto Nam Huang Yunshi. The other parasol leaves continued to dance in the air, as though they would never land on the ground. Nam Huang Yunshi's silhouette flashed as she appeared beneath another leaf. Her immortal sense gushed in and was instantly attracted by it. I want the parasol leaves. At this moment, Nanfeng Aoshua spoke. Her protector, Zhong Zhan and another expert instantly moved, wanting to seize the leaves of the parasol tree that were fluttering in the air. Everyone abruptly came to their senses. Their silhouettes flickered as they flew towards the parasol leaves. Qin Wendian also moved. A pair of resplendent wings appeared behind his back as he appeared before a parasol leaf. He stretched his hand out, wanting to use his immortal energy to grab it. However, he discovered that the parasol leaf was glowing with a resplendent light. His immortal energy couldn't envelop the leaf and he could only stretch his hand out to grab it. It was actually extremely heavy. His silhouette flickered as he moved towards another parasol leaf. When the two leaves neared each other, a terrifying repulsive force erupted forth, pushing Qin Wendian away. This. Qin Wendian's eyes flashed. A single leaf actually contained such might? It seemed that only the holy maiden of the Nam Huang clan would be able to unravel it. He had no choice but to place the parasol leaf beside Nam Huang Yunxi. He discovered that when the parasol leaf entered Nam Huang Yunxi's body, it wouldn't repel the other leaf she was comprehending. Is this an ability unique to the Nam Huang clan's bloodline? Qin Wendian spoke. Mengchen, Purgatory, go gather the parasol leaves and place them beside Nam Huang Yunxi. Let her slowly comprehend them. Right. The three of them acted at the same time, moving as fast as lightning. Numerous tree leaves appeared unceasingly in the area enveloped by Nanfeng Yunxi's immortal light. Her beautiful eyes stared at the tree leaves, and it seemed that she could only comprehend one at a time. After comprehending it, the tree leaf would float down and land on her, resembling a phoenix feather, enveloping her body. Everyone in this space acted, and their speed was incomparably fast. In just a short period of time, many parasol leaves appeared before the eyes of the 9 holy maidens. Their comprehension speed seemed to have slowed down. All of them were fully immersed in their comprehensions, and everything in the external world could only be left to their protectors. As the protectors frenziedly plundered the leaves, the number of parasol leaves in the air grew fewer and fewer. If this continued on, there wouldn't be any left very soon. At this moment, Purgatory and one of the protectors of Nan Fengling were both fighting for a parasol leaf. Purgatory grabbed it with her hand only to see her protector stabbing out with a finger. As that finger landed, the entire space transformed into a river of blood as a terrifying immortal might directly blasted into Purgatory's palm. Purgatory screamed in shock as blood flowed from her palm. She could only let go of the parasol leaf. Her protector stabbed out with another finger attack, forcing Purgatory to retreat. That protector snatched the parasol leaf away. Purgatory's expression turned cold as she glanced at that protector. She glanced at the surroundings and discovered that the best parasol leaf was already taken away. We need 81 parasol leaves. At this moment, Nanfeng Shinga spoke, causing the expressions of everyone to flicker. Qin Wendian glanced at Nanfeng Yunxi, as well as the parasol leaves in front of her. She was still lacking a little. As for the others, they were lacking a little as well. He discovered that the number of parasol leaves fluttering in the air was simply insufficient if each person needed 81. Unless they snatched it. But if they snatched it, there would definitely be people who didn't have enough. At this moment, everyone turned their gazes to the surroundings, their gazes filled with hostility. Clearly, they all knew that they needed to snatch the parasol leaves from each other. The problem was, who should they snatch it from? Everyone harbored evil intentions. Seems like it's better to have more people. Nam Huang Yunxi doesn't even know the exact situation in the ancestral lands. Qin Wendian silently mused. There were 3 of them, and the number of parasol leaves they collected could be considered to be the highest. You guys guard Nanfeng Aoshue. Zhongzhan spoke to the other 2 protectors. His entire body was clad in golden armor, exuding an unexcelled aura. Bzz. Zhongzhan was like a bolt of lightning, rushing towards Nanfeng Qing's protector, preparing to snatch the parasol leaf. Nanfeng Qing's protector instantly acted, clashing against Zhongzhan. At this moment, Nanfeng Yi's protector also acted, rushing towards Nanfeng Qing's side. Evidently, he wanted to be the fisherman who could reap the benefits of the fisherman. Numerous figures flickered, instantly causing chaos to descend. Mengchen, you guard Nam Huang Yunxi. Purgatory, come with me. Qin Wendian spoke. He stepped out, directly moving towards Nan Fengling. Before this, Nan Fengling's protector snatched a parasol leaf from Purgatory's hands. At this moment, outside the ancestral lands, those elders stood there, staring ahead. Someone asked, "Who will become the holy successor this time around?" "I hope it will be Xinge. That lass's talent is good and she's very intelligent. Qingrua isn't bad as well. Her protector is a young lad from the Jiang clan. If she can recruit someone from the Jiang clan as a son-in-law, things would be interesting." Someone laughed. Yunxi might be young but her potential is extremely high. The immortal foundation she established is of the highest quality. Don't forget about her. Look, the ancestral lands have opened, the parasol characters are floating in the air. These parasol leaves are the wings the phoenix ancestor bestowed to them. I wonder how many of them will be able to obtain them. These people discussed, all of them filled with anticipation. Chapter 1046. There were two protectors of the southern phoenix spirit. One was Ko Dao, the other was Tyrant Jiang. Both of them were at the second level of Immortal Foundation and had extremely powerful combat prowess. Ko Dao was none other than the person who acted against Purgatory earlier. Upon seeing Qin Wendian and Purgatory rushing over, their eyes flashed with coldness. Ko Dao's skin was blood red, giving off a terrifying feeling. As for Tyrant Jiang, his body was burly and tyrannical, resembling a black pagoda. He was an extremely tyrannical character. "You dare to kill your way here?" Ko Dao coldly spoke. His entire body shone with a towering blood-colored light as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. This entire space seemed to have transformed into a sea of blood as the shadow of a terrifying blood demon manifested. Tyrant Jiang stepped out, causing the air to tremble. An ancient cauldron appeared, floating in the air, exuding boundless tyrannical might. "He attacked you earlier. Purgatory, you deal with him." Qin Wendian pointed to Ko Dao as he spoke to Purgatory. "Right." Purgatory nodded, her eyes gleaming with coldness. After that, the two of them rushed towards their respective opponents as their auras gushed forth. Qin Wendian's entire body shone with resplendent runic light. His saint-grade immortal foundation granted him a perfect immortal physique, unparalleled in terms of physique. Qin Wendian's fleshly body was akin to an immortal-ranked weapon. For immortal foundation experts, it was extremely rare for them to have such a perfect and flawless physique like Qin Wendian. Tyrant Jiang's body grew larger, resembling a gigantic god of spirits. Many runes flashed within the ancient cauldron as law energy gushed forth. Tyrant Jiang punched out as the runes from the ancient cauldron blasted towards Qin Wendian, causing the entire space to tremble. Qin Wendian blasted out with his fist. He was like a primordial ferocious beast, yet also like a supreme war god. His pitch-black fist smashed through the void, directly shattering the runes of the ancient cauldron. His fist could shatter the heavens and earth, no one could block it. Tyrant Jiang's expression flickered. He was extremely powerful, his fleshly body was terrifying and his attacks were powerful. Ordinary second-level Immortal Foundation experts wouldn't even be able to block his attacks. His innate techniques were also extremely tyrannical. However, Qin Wendian's Immortal Foundation enveloped his body and didn't use any innate techniques. Qin Wendian merely used his fleshly body to attack him. Boom! Only to see Qin Wendian stepping out. Tyrant Jiang only felt his immortal foundation rumbling as the flow of his immortal energy became sluggish, as though it was being suppressed by a powerful obstruction. His countenance kept changing as his immortal foundation appeared. A moment later, the shadow of a gigantic ancient cauldron fused with him, causing him to exude an even stronger aura. Qin Wendian took another step forward as the rumbling sounds from the ancient cauldron grew even more intense. The runes floating within seemed to be on the verge of shattering, causing Tyrant Jiang to turn ashen as he stared at Qin Wendian. His king-grade immortal foundation was incomparably sturdy and his immortal energy was tyrannical. However, the might radiating from Qin Wendian actually suppressed his immortal foundation. "You are no match for me. Get out of my way." Qin Wendian took another step forward. With a thunderous boom, a terrifying destructive might bore down on his immortal foundation. The ancient runes crumbled unceasingly, but before they could bloom, they were already destroyed. Tyrant Zhang's heart trembled as he stared fixedly at Qin Wentian. How could the immortal foundation of this young man be so powerful? When he established his immortal foundation, he transformed the law energy of his immortal foundation into a cauldron. His immortal foundation was like a cauldron, immensely powerful and indomitable. In that case, Qin Wentian should have at least established a 5th-tier king-grade immortal foundation or even a saint-grade immortal foundation. However, in the immortal realms, was there really a first-level immortal foundation cultivator who could establish a saint-grade immortal foundation? This was completely illogical. It was something impossible. Southern Phoenix Ling invited me to protect her in battle. I can only be defeated, I cannot retreat. Tyrant Jiang coldly spoke, his voice booming like a bell. Even though he knew he would lose, he still wanted to fight. Fine, she will understand that you have already done your best. Qin Wentian spoke. The might of his immortal foundation gushed forth as he blasted out a gigantic palm imprint, capable of suppressing immortals and devils. Tyrant Jiang roared in rage as numerous gigantic ancient cauldrons flew out, transforming into towering ancient runes. However, when the palm imprint landed, all of them were destroyed. Qin Wentian's palms blasted out explosively, causing the entire space to tremble. Very soon, Tyrant Jiang couldn't endure it any longer and was flung through the air, suffering heavy injuries. Qin Wentian didn't show mercy, this was a sign of respect to Tyrant Jiang. He glanced at the battlefield beside him. Purgatory was currently fighting against her opponent. He walked towards Namhuang Yunxi and grabbed out with his hand, instantly grabbing a leaf. When he turned his head, he saw that there was someone who acted against Jun Mengchen earlier, wanting to plunder the parasol leaf beside Namhuang Yunxi. The person who acted was none other than Nanfeng Qing's protector, Nanfeng Aoshue and Nanfeng Yi. They suffered heavy losses and had no way to resist, hence they could only plunder the parasol leaf from Namhuang Yunxi. However, Jun Mengchen's strength was extremely tyrannical. He transformed into an emperor and every punch he punched out was like the king of chaos. His aura of an emperor engulfed the heavens and earth as he fought against his two opponents. Qin Wentian lifted his palm and slammed it towards Ko Dao. At the same time, he rushed out, grabbing a parasol leaf and returned to Namhuang Yunxi's side. That attack directly shattered Ko Dao's defense, and in addition to Purgatory's attack, Ko Dao was struck by Purgatory flames as he was flung through the air. Qin Wentian returned. Nanfeng Qing's protectors saw that the situation was far from good and wanted to flee. However, they only saw Qin Wentian directly intercepting them. His immortal foundation might gushed forth as he roared in rage. Instantly, a gigantic great rock manifested, sweeping through the air. A piercing sound rang out as one of his protectors was directly slashed apart, causing his countenance to turn pale. "You guys are eliminated." Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Demonic qi gushed forth from him as he unleashed his innate techniques. Numerous great rocks swept through the air while Jun Mengchen was still attacking. In the blink of an eye, two of his protectors were heavily injured. Qin Wentian placed the parasol leaf on Namhuang Yunxi's body. His silhouette flashed as he moved towards Jun Mengchen. He directly plucked a parasol leaf and shot it towards Nanfeng Qing. Jun Mengchen cooperated and caught it. At the same time, Purgatory also succeeded and was currently plundering the parasol leaf from Nanfeng Ling. When the others saw Nanfeng Qing and Nanfeng Ling's protectors losing their combat prowess, they also came over, plucking parasol leaves from the two holy maidens. Not too long after, the number of leaves around Nanfeng Yunxi had already exceeded 81. Brilliant light circulated around her as the leaves enveloped her, transforming into phoenix feathers that shone even more resplendently than before. However, at this moment, Nanfeng Qing's eyes abruptly opened. When she saw that the parasol leaves around her were almost completely plucked clean, her countenance grew incredibly ugly to behold. "Purgatory, go back." Qin Wentian spoke. He and Purgatory both returned to the side of Namhuang Yunxi. Right now, There were over 90 parasol leaves around Namhuang Yunxi. She only needed to slowly comprehend them. Nanfeng Ling brought her protectors, Ko Dao and Tyrant Jiang, over to Qin Wentian's side. Terrifying flames radiated from her, scorching the air as her countenance grew incredibly ugly. Since the parasol leaves are already by Yunxi's side, it's best for Holy Maiden Ling to stop snatching them. Qin Wentian spoke. As long as I injure the two of you, wouldn't the parasol leaves around Yunxi be mine? Nanfeng Ling spoke. There should still be enough time now, right? Holy Maiden Ling, is there a need for this? Before this, your two protectors were already defeated and injured. Now that it's 3 against 3, you guys basically have no chance of victory. Why don't you find other opponents? Qin Wentian persuaded. Bzz. A terrifying aura gushed forth from Nanfeng Ling. Her entire body was bathed in phoenix flames and the shadow of a phoenix could be seen on her back. She was extremely beautiful but her expression was extremely cold. She stared at Qin Wentian and the others. Leave this person to me. The two of you just need to help deal with the other two protectors. Right. Tyrant Jiang and Ko Dao nodded. It was true that Qin Wentian and the others weren't able to deal with him. They had no idea if Nanfeng Ling could defeat him or not. At this moment, Namhuang Yunxi's body glowed with a bright light as she comprehended another parasol leaf. The leaves transformed into feathers that covered her body. As the number of feathers increased, one could faintly see the outline of a phoenix's wings. This caused Nanfeng Ling's eyes to turn even colder. Namhuang Yunxi woke up at this moment. She glanced to the side only to hear Qin Wentian speaking with his back facing her. Focus on comprehending, leave this place to us. Namhuang Yunxi nodded. After that, she turned her gaze to another parasol leaf as her immortal sense seeped into it. She then closed her eyes. Let's end this quickly. Nanfeng Ling coldly spoke. She couldn't afford to wait any longer. If all these parasol leaves were comprehended by Namhuang Yunxi, it would be useless for her to snatch them. As the sound of her voice faded, Qin Wentian only saw an incomparably terrifying phoenix shadow grabbing at him. Its sharp claws contained a fearsome lacerating might. Qin Wentian's expression was calm. He lifted his hand and blasted out with a palm strike, shattering that terrifying might. The spirit of the southern phoenix descended. The phoenix phantom behind her flapped its wings and in an instant, a projection of an ancient phoenix manifested in the air. Flames of destruction erupted forth, enveloping Qin Wentian within. Qin Wentian's perfect body shone with resplendent runes as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. With the shadow of the divine turtle enveloping him, the phoenix flames couldn't burn him. Nanfeng Ling stretched her hand out as a terrifying phoenix spear formed from phoenix flames appeared in the air. Resplendent flames coiled around the spear as a fearsome destructive might gushed forth from it. Immortal light radiated from the spear as law energy gushed forth, wanting to destroy everything. Qin Wentian waved his hand as an ancient halberd appeared in the air. This halberd was formed from the energy of his immortal foundation and gleamed with a black luster, exuding a fearsome destructive might. Bzz. Nanfeng Ling acted. This attack of hers seemed to be able to penetrate through space as a fiery red mark appeared, exuding a destructive might that could penetrate through everything. Qin Wentian's ancient halberd slashed out at the same time, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. With a thunderous boom, the two forces collided together as the destructive might ravaged the surroundings. Bang! The spear shattered as terrifying flames incinerated this entire space. Qin Wentian's ancient halberd continued piercing forward. Nanfeng Ling's silhouette flickered as she instantly retreated far away, her cold eyes staring fixedly at Qin Wentian. I've already said that there's no need to fight. Holy Maiden Nanfeng Ling won't be able to seize the parasol leaves from Namhuang Yunxi. Qin Wentian domineeringly spoke. Jun Mengchen and Purgatory both held the advantage in their battle. This was especially so for Jun Mengchen, he had already injured the tyrannical Tyrant River. This battle caused the spectators to be disappointed. The protector chosen by Nam Huang Yunshi was extremely powerful and wasn't easy to deal with. Let's go. The Nanfeng Ling gave up on Qin Wentian's side. Nam Huang Yunshi didn't have anyone to disturb her and continued to comprehend the parasol leaves. As the parasol leaves enveloped her body, Qin Wentian discovered that a pair of resplendent fiery phoenix wings gradually appeared behind her back, slowly fusing into Nam Huang Yunshi's body, becoming a part of her. Chapter 1047. Qin Wentian stared at the other holy maidens. Out of the 9 holy maidens, only 6 of them had managed to comprehend all 81 parasol leaves. These 6 holy maidens were Nanfeng Qingrua, Nanfeng Xinge, Nanfeng Aoshue, Nanfeng Shihua, Nanfeng Yi, and Nam Huang Yunshi. The protectors of the 6 holy maidens were also the 6 strongest groups. Only then would they be able to comprehend in peace and not be disturbed by others. Right now, they could only rely on their own comprehension abilities. Qin Wentian could see that the ones with the highest comprehension abilities were Nam Huang Yunshi, Nanfeng Xinge, Nanfeng Qingrua, and Nanfeng Aoshue. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi were ranked second. From Qin Wentian's perspective, the one with the highest chance of becoming the holy successor would definitely be one of the top 4. They were also the 4 most popular among the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan. Not only were they extremely powerful, their protectors were also extremely powerful. Naturally, Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi weren't inferior as well, it was just that they were relatively stronger. Nam Huang Yunshi and Nanfeng Xinge both comprehended all 81 parasol leaves at the same time. A terrifying aura gushed forth from the 2 of them as a raging wind gusted by. A pair of resplendent phoenix wings appeared behind their backs, completely fusing into their bodies. That terrifying pair of wings seemed to circulate with mystical runic light. The flowing light contained the sharpness of swords and sabers, as well as a terrifying scorching heat, giving off an intense sense of power and beauty. How beautiful! If I didn't know that they are humans, I would have thought that their true form is that of a saint beast, a phoenix. Jun Mengchen mumbled. Nam Huang Yunshi's wings were so natural, as though they belonged to her. Not only was there no disharmony, they were extremely beautiful instead. This kind of beauty was half holy, half seductive, there was an indescribable sense of beauty. Nam Huang Yunshi opened her eyes as her wings fluttered, as though she was very familiar with this feeling. Her wings landed on Qin Wentian as a gentle smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face. These phoenix wings were able to increase her strength. As expected of the ancestral ground of the Nam Huang clan, it was truly a wondrous place. With a flap of her wings, numerous parasol leaves flew out, flying into the distance. The other 3 holy maidens didn't have any joy on their faces when they saw this scene. Nanfeng Yunshi and the other 2 holy maidens had already comprehended more than half of the parasol leaves and transformed them into phoenix wings. Even if they comprehended all the remaining leaves, it wouldn't be enough. They had no fate with these phoenix wings. Come up to my wings. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke, her words causing Qin Wentian to stiffen. However, he only heard Nam Huang Yunshi continuing, we want to enter the first level of the ancestral ground. Only those with phoenix wings would be able to enter. After you guys come up, hold on to my wings tightly and don't let go. I will bring you guys in. As the sound of her voice faded, Nanfeng Yunshi floated up into the air. Qin Wentian nodded his head, he didn't argue any further. The 3 of them directly flew to the back of Nanfeng Yunshi's beautiful phoenix wings, grabbing onto the feathers tightly, not letting go. The same scene happened over at Nanfeng Xinge's side as well. After that, Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Aoshue respectively comprehended phoenix wings. Bzz, a raging wind gusted as Nam Huang Yunshi soared forward, resembling a fiery red bolt of lightning. Nanfeng Yunshi's eyes were beautiful to the extreme, as though there were flames burning within them. She stared at the illusory gate in front of her that transformed into the diagram of a phoenix. Her phoenix wings flapped madly as she flew towards it. Rumble. A terrifying energy blasted into Qin Wentian and the others. After that, they discovered that they had indeed arrived at the next level. Glancing behind them, they saw Nan Fengling and the other two holy maidens trying to ram their way through the spatial barrier. However, they were unable to do so at all. This was proof of Nam Huang Yunshi's words. After that, another figure appeared. It was Nan Fengshinge. She exchanged glances with Nam Huang Yunshi while her protectors coldly glanced at Qin Wendian and the others. This was especially so for Kong Yi. His gaze was extremely sharp, and the might of a third-level Immortal Foundation expert was extremely powerful. What's on those leaves? Qin Wendian stared ahead. This space was still as beautiful as ever. The ancient parasol tree's roots intertwined with each other, and the ground was littered with fallen leaves. Each and every leaf seemed to be imprinted with the glow of fire. Nam Huang Yunshi stared at the leaves fluttering in the air. Qin Wendian and the others couldn't see it, but Nam Huang Yunshi could. This was the ancestral ground of the Nam Huang clan. Life from death. Nan Feng Yunshi mumbled in a low voice. Her gaze stared ahead, and over there was a gigantic ancient parasol tree. In the middle of the towering ancient tree, there was a terrifying vortex that seemed to be a path of nirvanic rebirth. A terrifying aura gushed forth from it. From there, we can enter the next space. But on the path of nirvana, we have to seek life from death. Nam Huang Yunshi pointed in a direction as she spoke. Her silhouette floated forward as Qin Wendian and the other two followed closely behind. At this moment, Nan Fengqingrua also entered this space. Only the three holy maidens can enter. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke. Qin Wendian's heart trembled when he heard this. It felt like everything was already destined. In the first space, there were 3 people who didn't manage to forge their phoenix wings. And now, only 3 of them could enter. Until the last person became the holy successor, they would continue to temper themselves. Very swiftly, Qin Wendian and the others arrived at the terrifying path of nirvana. An incomparably scorching aura gushed forth, causing Qin Wendian to feel terror. But even so, Qin Wendian saw Nam Huang Yunshi and Nan Fengshinge entering the path of nirvana with no hesitation. Their bodies were instantly engulfed in flames, but their footsteps were resolute as they continued forward. Kong Yi, help me guard the path of nirvana. Nan Fengshinge's voice rang out. Kong Yi nodded lightly. At this moment, Nan Fengqingrua and the others walked over. She glanced at Qin Wendian, Kong Yi, and the others as she spoke. The path of nirvana can allow 3 people to walk side by side. Including me, there are 3 of us. Kong Yi and Qin Wendian exchanged glances before stepping aside. Nan Fengqingrua stepped into the path of nirvana. Her protector, Jiang Ziyu, also walked over, guarding the path of nirvana. They didn't speak to each other, they only stared ahead. Nan Fengxue arrived, and when she saw the 3 of them entering the path of nirvana, her countenance turned extremely unsightly to behold. She had used too much time in the first space and missed the opportunity. However, she, Nan Fengxue, was the strongest among the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan. How could she not have a spot? Step aside. Nan Fengxue's protector, the golden condor Zhongzhan, stepped out as he spoke in a domineering tone. Kong Yi radiated a dazzling light as his 3rd-level Immortal Foundation aura circulated around him. How could he step aside? Although Jiang Ziyu was only at the 2nd level of Immortal Foundation, he was a disciple of the ancient Jiang clan and was extremely mysterious and powerful. Just a single glance from him would cause one to feel the sharpness of his aura. In addition, there was also a powerful protector at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation beside him. One couldn't help but say that Nan Fengqingrua's charm was extremely great. Both of her protectors were extremely powerful. Even Nan Fengxue couldn't help but to frown when she saw this. Eventually, her gaze landed on Qin Wendian's group. There are 3 paths of nirvana and only 3 people can pass through it. Right now, the 3 of them have each occupied one of the paths. The others couldn't see it clearly, but Nan Fengxue could. The 3 paths of nirvana in the vortex didn't interfere with each other, but there were only 3 of them. Right now, the 3 of them have already been engulfed by the blazing flames and entered the depths of the nirvana path. The path you guys are on, step aside. Zhongzhan instantly understood Nanfeng Aoshue's meaning. There was no need to offend all three paths of nirvana. They only needed to seize one of them. The three camps before them were all extremely powerful, but the weakest one was clearly the camp of Qin Wendian and the other two first-level Immortal Foundation experts. Although Qin Wendian and the other two had proven their combat prowess before, to the others, Qin Wendian and the others, their cultivation bases were still a little weaker compared to the people here. Zhongzhan, the descendant of a demon emperor, Nanfeng Aoshue, the strongest among the holy maidens of this generation of the Namhuang clan, with a cultivation base at the third level of Immortal Foundation. Just the two of them alone were sufficient to suppress Qin Wendian's group. Bullying us? Jun Mengchen's eyes flashed with coldness, feeling somewhat unhappy. How infuriating, their cultivation bases were just a little lower. Did they think they were easy to bully? There were three paths of nirvana and they wanted to seize their path. There's no more time. Nanfeng Aoshue's aura instantly erupted forth. The might of a third-level Immortal Foundation expert was extremely tyrannical, capable of suppressing everything. Her entire body was bathed in fiery light as her Phoenix Immortal Foundation manifested. She was also a King-grade Immortal Foundation expert, and in addition to her cultivation base, the halo of light around her was incomparably resplendent. Boom, boom, boom. Qin Wendian, Jun Mengchen, and Purgatory's auras instantly erupted forth. Other than Nanfeng Aoshue and Zhongzhan, there were still two others. One of them was Rong Xiao, who was defeated by Qin Wendian, and the other was a second-level Immortal Foundation expert. They absolutely couldn't allow Nanfeng Aoshue to step onto the path of nirvana. Right now, it was unknown what Namhuang Yunxi was experiencing right now. Most probably, she had already temporarily lost her combat prowess. Zhongzhan domineeringly stepped out, blasting out with a single strike. A moment later, the golden condor swooped over, containing a terrifying attack power. Mengchen, you go. Qin Wendian spoke. Jun Mengchen stepped out, carrying an entire world on his back. He punched out, causing chaos in the sky and earth, shattering everything. Nanfeng Aoshue stabbed out with a finger strike towards Qin Wendian. Her attack was akin to a phoenix sword, containing a fearsome penetrative might. Qin Wendian released the might of his perfect saint-grade Immortal Foundation. His body circulated with a dazzling light as the shadow of the divine turtle shone, enveloping him. Immortal energy coalesced into an ancient halberd as he slashed out with the speed of lightning, shattering Nanfeng Aoshue's attack. Rong Xiao and the other expert rushed out. Purgatory reverted back to her original form, guarding the entrance. The two of them rushed towards Nanfeng Aoshue at the same time. Scram! After Qin Wendian destroyed Nanfeng Aoshue's attack, the ancient halberd in his hand shot out explosively, flying straight towards Rong Xiao. That ancient halberd contained a heaven-shaking destructive might as it slashed through the air. Rong Xiao's countenance drastically changed as he frantically tried to defend. However, a thunderous boom rang out as the ancient halberd slashed towards him. Rong Xiao frantically retreated, transforming into a phantom. Puchi! A wound appeared on Rong Xiao's body as he retreated far away. The destructive might ravaged his body, causing his countenance to turn pale. What was even more unbearable was the humiliation of being defeated. He actually couldn't even withstand a single strike. How dare you! Nanfeng Aoshue's face turned frosty when she saw Qin Wendian splitting his attention to injure Rong Xiao. Her killing intent was extremely terrifying. Chapter 1048. Qin Wendian stared at Nanfeng Aoshue as he coldly spoke, "You are even more insolent." As the sound of his voice faded, the might of his Immortal Foundation circulated frenziedly, fusing into his palms. Very swiftly, towering runic light circulated around his palms, exuding a terrifying might. Rumbling sounds rang out as Qin Wendian's body expanded in size. The might from his palms grew even more terrifying. Although the god's hand he cultivated wasn't the complete version, it was still a secret art of ancient Emperor Yi. Nanfeng Aoshue folded incantations with her hands as the flames around her towered up into the sky, incinerating everything. She was like a phoenix that had descended into the world. Around her, a fearsome sea of flames enveloped her as the shadow of numerous phoenixes appeared, revolving around her as they stared at Qin Wentian. Their eyes gleamed with a demonic sharpness, terrifying to the extreme. Die! Nanfeng Aoshue blasted out with her ancient imprint. Instantly, the phantoms of numerous phoenixes lunged out, exuding a supreme might that wanted to tear this entire space apart. Qin Wentian stared at the gigantic phantoms of phoenixes. His hands radiated boundless immortal might as destructive light circulated around them. He abruptly blasted out with his palms as the phantoms of great rocks appeared, exuding a fearsome might that towered up into the sky. It was like a true golden-winged rock had descended into the world, capable of annihilating everything. Bzz. A wave of heat directly gushed forth as Nanfeng Aoshue appeared before Qin Wentian. Her phoenix wings swept out, slashing towards Qin Wentian. Those fearsome phoenix wings were even sharper than the flaming swords. Qin Wentian didn't retreat a single step. In fact, he even took a slight step forward as the might of his immortal foundation erupted forth frenziedly. His constellation flashed, transforming into a wondrous world. An ancient halberd appeared in the form of the god's hand as he stabbed out, directly piercing into the phoenix wings of his opponent. A fearsome destructive force gushed forth, wanting to pierce through the phoenix wings. Nanfeng Yu instantly retreated, hovering in the air as she flapped her wings. Her expression turned even colder. How powerful was the immortal might of a third-level immortal foundation cultivator? It wasn't something a first-level immortal foundation cultivator could compare to. However, her attacks were continuously blocked by Qin Wentian. She had no way to break through his defense, unable to enter the ancient path of nirvana. At this moment, Qin Wentian stood at the entrance of the ancient path. His physique was gigantic and both his palms transformed into God's hand. Behind him, a pair of rock wings could be seen. He resembled a heavenly god, a single man guarding the pass against 10,000 enemies. His eyes were extremely deep and terrifying, able to cause people to sink into a trance. At this moment, Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi rushed over. The comprehension of these two holy maidens was slightly weaker, but they weren't slower by much. When they arrived at this space, they discovered that the other three ancient paths were already occupied. Their countenances instantly turned unsightly. Nanfeng Shihua, Nanfeng Yi, help me seize this ancient path. After that, I will get Zhong Zhan and the others to help you seize the other ancient paths. Nanfeng Aoshue transmitted her voice to Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi. She didn't directly say this because she wanted to prevent Qin Wentian from joining forces with Jiang Ziyu and Kong Yi. If that happened, they would have no hope at all. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi frowned as expressions of contemplation appeared on their faces. However, Nanfeng Aoshue continued, there's not much time left. If you continue to consider, I'm afraid there wouldn't be any hope left. Let's cripple Qin Wentian first. Send your assistants to deal with the other two holy maidens and use the fastest speed to make the assistants of Namhuang Yunxi lose their combat abilities. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi exchanged glances before they transmitted their voices to their assistants. After that, Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi cooperated with Nanfeng Aoshue as they rushed towards Qin Wentian from three different directions. This scene caused Qin Wentian's expression to stiffen. Three holy maidens actually joined forces to seize the ancient path to nirvana. Bzz. Phoenix wings flapped as the three of them sped towards the ancient path with extreme speed. Many thoughts flashed through Qin Wentian's mind. It was extremely difficult for him to deal with the three of them at the same time. Once one of them entered the ancient path to nirvana, it would be extremely disadvantageous to Namhuang Yunxi. Lifting his palm, Qin Wentian blasted out a destructive palm imprint. However, the attacks of the three holy maidens arrived at the same time. Thunderous rumbling sounds reverberated through his arm as Qin Wentian was forced back. He decisively borrowed the force of the impact and directly retreated into the depths of the ancient path to nirvana. At the same time, he spoke to Jun Mengchen and Purgatory. Mengchen, Purgatory, don't continue fighting. I will seal the ancient path to Nirvana. Senior brother, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Jun Mengchen spoke in a clear voice as he violently clashed with Zhong Zhan. There was only a single path on the ancient path to Nirvana. If Qin Wendian retreated into it, he would be able to completely seal the entrance. The path was too narrow, it was impossible even if the three holy maidens joined forces to deal with him. They could only fight him head-on. The scorching flames engulfed the ancient path, forming a terrifying vortex. Qin Wendian didn't dare to retreat too quickly. An instant later, he and the three holy maidens were all buried in the flames. Qin Wendian halted and didn't continue retreating. He could already see Nam Huang Yunxi and the other two holy maidens. Each of them occupied a narrow path at the end of the vortex. However, when Qin Wendian saw the situation there, a hint of awkwardness flashed in his eyes. Nam Huang Yunxi was immersed in the vortex of the ancient path to Nirvana. The phoenix flames burned her body, destroying her clothes. Her skin was like jade, flawless and flawless. She was like a painting of a supreme beauty. Only the phoenix wings on her back remained, piercing through her jade-white skin, adding a hint of demonic beauty to her beauty. Don't look at indecent things. Qin Wendian silently mused. Not only Nam Huang Yunxi, Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Shenge were also suffocatingly beautiful, causing the blood in the hearts of those who looked at them to boil. The terrifying flames unceasingly cleansed their bodies, wanting to reforge their perfect physiques. The phoenix flames fused into their bodies, making them even more powerful than before. You dare to profane the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan? You deserve death. Nanfeng Aoshua's entire body burned with terrifying rage when she saw this scene. Qin Wendian stared at her. You guys are the ones who forced me to come here. Let's leave this place immediately. How could Nanfeng Aoshua leave? When she saw the three holy maidens undergoing the baptism, she felt even more anxious in her heart. She frenziedly unleashed the power of her immortal foundation, resembling a true ancient phoenix. Qin Wendian snorted. His body expanded once more, completely sealing off this path. In fact, even the vision of those in front of him was blocked. They could only see his gigantic body, they couldn't see Nam Huang Yunxi. You guys won't have a chance. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. I don't believe it. Nanfeng Aoshua's silhouette flickered as a heaven-shaking phoenix cry rang out. She appeared before Qin Wendian as an incomparably gigantic phoenix manifested, exuding a towering might of a saint beast. It spat out immortal fire and at the same time, its claws were as sharp as swords as they slashed out. At this instant, Qin Wendian felt that he was facing a world-shaking phoenix. His immortal foundation radiated boundless might, and within it, a divine dragon could be faintly seen. Qin Wendian's entire body shone with a towering demonic light, resembling a supreme demonic god. He blasted out with God's hand, instantly causing the heavens and earth to shatter. A gigantic demonic dragon appeared, containing supreme might within it. It clashed head-on with that ancient phoenix. Dragon roars and phoenix cries rang out as a heaven-shaking battle ensued. The might of their immortal foundations gushed forth unceasingly, transforming into boundless immortal energy that flowed endlessly. Nanfeng Shihua and Nanfeng Yi's countenances drastically changed when they saw this scene. They actually had no way to interfere in such a battle. Also, the space here was too narrow and sealed off by Qin Wendian. If they couldn't break through Qin Wendian's defenses, they could forget about passing through. The two of them exchanged glances and could only retreat, leaving this ancient path of nirvana. Die! Nanfeng Aoshua was truly angered. She was a third-level Immortal Foundation expert, a heaven-chosen of the Nam Huang clan. She had the identity of a holy maiden and wanted to seize the authority of the holy successor. But now, she couldn't even take down a first-level Immortal Foundation cultivator. This was simply a great humiliation. Within his immortal foundation, a supreme flame sword shot out from the mouth of that ancient phoenix. Qin Wendian coldly snorted. Within his immortal foundation, a dazzling dark golden light flashed as God's hand blasted out. An ancient halberd capable of annihilating everything shot straight into the mouth of the demonic dragon. The sword and halberd collided in the air, causing the entire space to tremble, wanting to destroy both of them. Why must you be so stubborn? Since he doesn't belong to you, just give up. Qin Wentian coldly spoke, causing Nanfeng Aoshue to feel even more humiliated. She was determined to seize the authority of the holy successor and had invited Zhong Zhan and the others to help her. But now, Qin Wentian actually said that he didn't belong to her. What conditions did Nam Huang Yunxi give you? Nanfeng Aoshue spoke. I can give you double the amount. Qin Wentian shook his head. I'm friends with Nam Huang Yunxi. She simply sent me an invitation and I came here. What conditions? In that case, you guys have an extraordinary relationship. Nanfeng Aoshue continued. As the two of them spoke, the battle didn't stop. Holy Maiden Aoshue thinks too much. No wonder you have no fate with the holy successor. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. With a thunderous roar, another true Ho rushed out from God's hand. With a thunderous roar, it tore through the void, aiming for the phoenix. Rumble. The ancient phoenix screeched and was finally defeated. Nanfeng Aoshue groaned in misery as she retreated unceasingly, her countenance pale. This path is blocked. Qin Wentian stared at her as he coldly spoke. Nanfeng Aoshue had an expression of reluctance on her face. She finally gave up and chose to walk out of this path. Chapter 1049. Qin Wentian watched as Nanfeng Aoshue left, but he still didn't leave. His aura dissipated, but his body didn't shrink in size. He stood there, as though he was thinking for Nam Huang Yunxi's sake. After all, the scene behind him was too beautiful. However, at this moment, a scream of misery rang out from behind him, causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. Don't look at indecent things. Qin Wentian reminded himself, calming his heart. Nam Huang Yunxi screamed unceasingly, as though she was enduring immense pain. Seems like her body was undergoing a baptism once again. During the path of immortal ascension, her body had already undergone a baptism. This ancestral land of the Nam Huang clan must have some sort of secret art that allowed one to face death and return to life. Most probably, it would allow one's body to undergo another transformation, becoming even stronger. This process continued for a very long time, but there was still no one who came to disturb the other three paths. Most probably, Nanfeng Aoshue and her companions also encountered powerful obstructions on the other two paths. She should be finished, right? Qin Wentian silently mused. He turned his head back only to see that Nam Huang Yunxi's body was now even more flawless than before. Her jade-white skin was tinged with a hint of redness, and her black hair fluttered in the wind. Such a scene would cause one to linger on for a long time. I didn't do it on purpose. Qin Wentian spoke to himself, hurriedly turning his head back. He told himself that he was only worried about Nam Huang Yunxi's safety and didn't have any intentions of profanity. He, Qin Wentian, wasn't a lecherous person. After a long time, a light voice drifted over. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke in a soft voice, done. Qin Wentian let out a breath, as though he was extremely nervous earlier. His body shrank and he turned his head back only to see that Nam Huang Yunxi had donned a beautiful phoenix feather robe, looking flawless. Upon seeing Nam Huang Yunxi's gaze, Qin Wentian felt a little guilty. He hurriedly asked, can we continue forward? The road ahead will require the protection of my body. Come with me. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke in a light voice. As for the other two paths, Nanfeng Xinge and Nanfeng Qingrua each opened up a path that led into the distance. Kang Yi, Jiang Ziyu, and the others entered. Nanfeng Aoshue, Nanfeng Shihua, and the other holy maidens also entered. When they saw the scene before them, expressions of disappointment could be seen on their faces. Had things ended already? How should we proceed ahead? Nanfeng Aoshue asked. Big sis Ao Shui, you all no longer have a chance. Only the three of us can continue on this path. If anyone else wants to enter, they will need to use our bodies to protect them. Nanfeng Xinge gently spoke. Nanfeng Aoshua's eyes flickered with reluctance. She coldly glanced at Qin Wentian. If it wasn't for Qin Wentian, she wouldn't have failed. How do we go there? Kang Yi asked Nanfeng Xinge. How about we each bring one person with us? Nanfeng Qingrua stared at Nanfeng Xinge and Namhuang Yunxi. Right. Nanfeng Xinge nodded lightly. Namhuang Yunxi also nodded in agreement. Jiang Ziyu. Nanfeng Qingrua stared at Jiang Ziyu, Nanfeng Xinge stared at Kang Yi, while Namhuang Yunxi's beautiful eyes landed on Qin Wentian. Mengchen, Purgatory, wait for me here. Qin Wentian turned his head and spoke to Jun Mengchen and Purgatory. The two of them nodded, they had no objections. Senior brother, you have to be careful. These two are extremely powerful. Jun Mengchen transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian naturally knew that Jun Mengchen was referring to Kang Yi and Jiang Ziyu. Earlier, after Nanfeng Aoshua exited the Nirvana ancient path, she must have tried to break through the other two paths. However, he didn't see her entering the Nirvana path. From this, one could see how powerful the obstructions were. Right. Qin Wentian replied. Since Jun Mengchen reminded him, these two must be extremely powerful. Qin Wentian walked towards Namhuang Yunxi. Namhuang Yunxi spread her wings and spoke to Qin Wentian, come in front of me. Qin Wentian walked forward. Namhuang Yunxi folded her wings as she spoke in a low voice, hold my hand. Qin Wentian grabbed Namhuang Yunxi's arm. Namhuang Yunxi was staring ahead, there was no abnormality in her expression. With a flap of her wings, the two of them soared into the air. Namhuang Yunxi's silhouette flickered as she flew forward like a bolt of lightning. She closed her wings, enveloping herself and Qin Wentian within as they sped into the Nirvana path. Not only her, Nanfeng Xinge and Nanfeng Qingrua also brought their protectors and sped forward. Purgatory, don't you feel that senior brother Qin is very fortunate? Jun Mengchen stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke to Purgatory beside him. Purgatory glared at him, big brother Qin is doing this because he wants to help Namhuang Yunxi obtain the position of the holy successor. He doesn't have the same thoughts as you. I'm just saying. Jun Mengchen scratched his head, staring at this beautiful last Purgatory who treated his senior brother so well. The more he looked at her, the more he felt that Qin Wentian was blessed. What are you looking at? Purgatory's tone was unkind. Jun Mengchen hurriedly averted his gaze, no, I'm not looking. A powerful aura descended. Nanfeng Aoshua and Zhong Zhan floated in the air, staring at Jun Mengchen and the others. Jun Mengchen's eyes flashed as he spoke, Nanfeng Aoshua, you are the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan. The competition for the position of holy successor should be fair. If you are defeated, so be it. Don't be so petty, right? Humph, Nanfeng Aoshua coldly snorted and flicked her sleeves as she departed. She had waited for tens of years, yet her hope was shattered just like that. What are you looking at? What heaven-warring condor? Let's fight after we exit the ancestral lands. Jun Mengchen glared at Zhong Zhan as he taunted. Just you wait. Zhong Zhan coldly spoke. At this moment, Qin Wentian and the others had already arrived at the next level. This place was even more resplendent. Ahead of them, there was an incomparably gigantic parasol tree that spiraled up into the sky. Above it, resplendent rays of auspicious light could be seen. Countless parasol leaves fluttered in the air, weaving together to form a dreamlike scene. A phoenix perches on the parasol tree. Qin Wentian walked out from the protection of Nanfeng Yunxi's wings. He stood beside Nanfeng Yunxi as he inclined his head and stared at the sky. Ahead of him, there was an ancient parasol tree that towered into the sky. Above it, an auspicious glow could be seen, and the silhouette of a phoenix could be faintly seen. In this ancestral land, could there be a powerful saint beast phoenix? Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. Qin Wendian was thinking that if the ancestral land of the Namhuang clan was a phoenix, and this phoenix was the same age as the Namhuang clan, how ancient would it be? If this was true, it would definitely be a supremely powerful saint beast. I can't go up. Just when Qin Wendian wanted to soar into the air, he discovered that a formless law energy was pressing down on him, causing him to be unable to fly up. These parasol leaves are the bridge that leads to the void. Namhuang Yunshi spoke to Qin Wendian. She stared at the parasol leaves fluttering unceasingly in the air as her immortal sense permeated them. All of a sudden, she spat out a rune. This rune was one that Qin Wendian had never heard of before. In an instant, a parasol leaf floated before her, transforming into a flight of stairs. Namhuang Yunshi walked up and as expected, she took a step into the void. How mystical! Qin Wendian's eyes flashed. This parasol leaf was extremely large and the flight of stairs they formed could accommodate several people. He walked to the side of Namhuang Yunshi and didn't continue to disturb her. He knew that this was a crucial moment. He only needed to protect Namhuang Yunshi well. Nanfeng Xinga and Nanfeng Qingrua, the two holy maidens, also spat out strange runes, unceasingly forming a flight of stairs. 3 ancient parasol paths gradually appeared in the air, exuding a resplendent magnificence, connecting to the sky as they moved towards the peak of the gigantic parasol tree. Nanfeng Xinga was in the middle, Nanfeng Qingrua was on the left, and Namhuang Yunshi was on the right. This position was extremely disadvantageous to Nanfeng Xinga. However, as the 3 of them formed the flight of stairs, Nanfeng Qingrua seemed to be slightly slower. Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Xinga advanced side by side, advancing at the same pace. Upon seeing this scene, a smile appeared on Kong Ye's face. Seems like Nanfeng Xinga and Namhuang Yunshi's comprehension of the parasol leaves was a level higher. Nanfeng Qingrua was most probably at a disadvantage now. As they continued ascending, the distance between them gradually increased. Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Xinga were still advancing side by side, almost at the same pace. Kong Ye's eyes flashed as he stared in the direction of Namhuang Yunshi. Qin Wendian glanced over and stared at him. For the final battle, I feel that it's better to leave it to the 3 holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. We only need to protect them and not allow them to be disturbed. Victory is already in my grasp, why should I give way? Kong Yi stared at Qin Wendian as he spoke, his words causing Qin Wendian's eyes to flicker as he stared at Kong Yi. This Kong Yi was so confident. He said that victory is already in his grasp. Does this mean that he would be able to defeat Qin Wendian for sure and expel Namhuang Yunshi, allowing Nanfeng Xinga to obtain the inheritance? If you are defeated, as a protector, wouldn't you implicate holy maiden Nanfeng Xinga? Qin Wendian counter-asked. Since I'm a protector, I will naturally fight for her. Kong Yi calmly spoke. In addition, I won't be defeated. Nanfeng Aoshue also believes that she will definitely obtain the inheritance, but she hasn't even reached this point. Overconfidence is simply arrogance and ignorance. Qin Wendian spoke. The 2 of them clashed with each other. Kong Ye's aura gushed forth, he no longer spoke. From the looks of things, Nanfeng Qingrua was at a disadvantage while Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Xinga advanced steadily. From Kong Ye's perspective, as long as he defeated Namhuang Yunshi's protector, Qin Wendian, he would be able to stop Namhuang Yunshi from advancing further. Nanfeng Xinga would become the holy successor. How could Kong Yi miss out on such an opportunity? Qin Wendian released his immortal foundation might when he saw this scene. Since Kong Yi wants to fight, he would fight then. Bzz. An incomparably dazzling light suddenly blossomed from Kong Ye's body like a peacock spreading its tail. This peacock spread its tail and shot out a 7-colored immortal light. In an instant, everyone's vision became blurry. Qin Wendian closed his eyes. Seems like this Kong Yi had a demonic beast bloodline. Indeed, Kong Ye's father was a human expert while his mother was a peacock demon king. Many immortal seals blasted out from the body of the peacock, attacking with lightning speed while Qin Wendian was in a daze. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation frenziedly gushed forth as immortal light circulated around him. The shadow of the divine turtle protected him as the immortal seals blasted out, shattering the defenses of the turtle. Qin Wentian's immortal sense enveloped this entire space. Even if he didn't open his eyes and only used his immortal sense to observe, when he stared at the peacock shadow, under the illumination of the multicolored light, Qin Wentian still felt his vision turning blurry. Jun Mengchen reminded him to be careful of Kong Yi and Jiang Ziyu. Both of them were truly powerful characters. Kong Ye's confidence originated from his overwhelming strength. Since victory is assured, why should I give way to you? Kong Ye's voice drifted over. Dazzling seven-colored light circulated around him. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic peacock manifested, bringing with it many ancient immortal seals as it blasted out, wanting to destroy everything. After defeating Qin Wentian, Nanfeng Shingo would become the holy successor. Chapter 1050. Kong Ye's attacks were terrifying, the might of his immortal seals were incomparably tyrannical. Qin Wentian radiated resplendent immortal light as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth frenziedly. The shadow of a divine turtle manifested around him as his body expanded in size, shielding Namhuang Yunxi behind him, not allowing her to be disturbed. At the same time, God's hand appeared once more. The Fiend God Heavenly Suppression Art was unleashed. Given Qin Wentian's perfect physique and saint-grade immortal foundation, the might of the Fiend God Heavenly Suppression Art was incomparably terrifying. Every time the god's hand blasted out, it seemed as though it wanted to suppress this entire space, slaying immortals and devils. It frenziedly clashed against Qin Wentian's attacks, causing the entire space to tremble as thunderous rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly. Kong Yi let out the cry of a peacock. The seven-colored light radiating from him grew even more dazzling, blotting out the sun. Qin Wentian's vision grew even more blurry. He who had his eyes closed felt his immortal sense being obstructed. The seven-colored light radiating from the peacock made everyone feel as though everything was an illusion. But what was even more terrifying was that the rainbow-colored light unceasingly radiated immortal seals, frenziedly blasting towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's saint-grade immortal foundation radiated boundless immortal light. A terrifying heaven-devouring greater demon appeared, exuding boundless might. Qin Wentian's god's hand blasted out as a gigantic primordial chaos greater demon appeared in the air. It let out a heaven-shaking roar of rage, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Everything before it was about to be devoured by its malevolent maw. Even the immortal seals of the peacock were completely devoured. It was simply terrifying. Qin Wentian once obtained a treasured cauldron in the ancient city in the city of ancient emperors. Within the cauldron were the treasured arts of 8 greater demons. They were respectively, demonic dragon, great rock, black tortoise, divine elephant, vermilion bird, Kirin, true Ho, and primordial chaos. Each of the arts contained boundless might, containing countless profound innate techniques. Up until now, Qin Wentian had only managed to comprehend the tip of the iceberg. The 8 great fiends' precious techniques possessed boundless power. Primal chaos swallowed the heavens, destroying everything. The peacock ancient fiend was shaken, the imprince's power seemingly suppressed. Kong Yi didn't expect Qin Wentian to actually be so powerful. Although the treasured art of a greater demon was extremely powerful, Qin Wentian was after all only at the first level of immortal foundation. Being able to unleash such power naturally had something to do with his perfect physique and powerful immortal foundation. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation seemed to be close to perfection. Kong Yi could sense that there were no flaws at all. Being able to suppress his immortal foundation indicated that Qin Wentian's immortal foundation was extremely high. Not only so, Qin Wentian's god's hands were also extremely powerful. All kinds of methods were combined together, instantly unleashing an extremely powerful might that transcended realms. One must know that even for heaven's chosen characters, if they were 2 levels lower than him, they would still be insta-killed by him. Immortal Foundation, each level represents a realm, constantly growing stronger and stronger. Compared to a first-level Immortal Foundation cultivator, how could a third-level Immortal Foundation cultivator be merely a level stronger? We came here to protect the ancestral lands. The original intention of the Namhuang clan was to ensure that the Holy Maiden wouldn't be disturbed, allowing her to decide who the inheritor would be. However, you purposely wanted to destroy this. Most probably, the true meaning of protection lies in this, right? Qin Wendian calmly spoke, his attacks towering up into the sky, suppressing all immortals and devils in this world. Humph, Kang Yi coldly snorted. Behind him, the peacock tail spread out as countless imprints revolved, manifesting a revolving screen of destructive light that frenziedly blasted towards the greater demon. Even his immortal foundation was unleashed, containing boundless might. The attacks formed from the powerful imprints transformed into sacred light that could destroy everything. The greater demon trembled unceasingly, as though it would be destroyed at any moment. In Qin Wentian's body, his saint-grade immortal foundation radiated with destructive light as ancient halberds manifested one after another, shining with a dark golden light that contained a supreme destructive might. These ancient halberds rushed into God's hand, growing stronger and stronger as they blasted out explosively. Each of the ancient halberds exuded an aura of annihilation as they blasted towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's eyes were still closed, using his heart to sense the battle. Rumble, rumble. The destructive energy pierced into the revolving light screen as crackling sounds rang out. The seal was shattered as the terrifying ancient halberd penetrated through everything. Kang Ye's countenance drastically changed. The light screen trembled unceasingly as the peacock's tail fanned out, unable to withstand the destructive might of the halberd. Yet another incomparably gigantic ancient halberd slashed over, akin to a bolt of black golden lightning. With a deafening boom, a rainbow-colored light scattered in the air. Kang Ye's attack was shattered, and his body was forced backwards as he groaned in agony. However, Qin Wentian didn't stop there. He continued his attack. Kang Ye's countenance grew incredibly unsightly. Numerous terrifying great rocks whistled through the air, unceasingly lacerating his energy and slamming into his body. He had already lost his position and had no way to continue protecting Nanfeng Shinga. Since you started this war, you should pay the price for your defeat. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. Holy Maiden Shinga, I'm afraid you have to stop now. His voice rang out in the ears of Nanfeng Shinga, causing her body to tremble. She opened her eyes and turned her head, glancing at Kang Yi only to see his countenance turning pale. He felt that he didn't have the face to face Nanfeng Shinga anymore. Shinga's comprehension abilities aren't inferior to Namhuang Yunxi. Kang Yi stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. You said before that if you lose, you would implicate Holy Maiden Shinga. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. He walked up, following Namhuang Yunxi's footsteps, protecting her. Nanfeng Shinga fell silent for a moment before she smiled. Yunxi truly has good judgment when she invited you to be her protector. Holy Maiden Shinga, there's no need to undervalue yourself. If it wasn't for Kang Yi, it would be hard to say who would be the victor. Qin Wentian smiled. Nanfeng Shinga's demeanor was like a painting, exuding an ethereal beauty. Her demeanor was extraordinary as well, far surpassing Nanfeng Aoxue. Protectors are a part of the fight for the ancestral lands. A loss is a loss. Nanfeng Shinga gently smiled. After that, she stared at Kang Yi. Kang Yi, I'm already very grateful that you came here to help me. There's no need to blame yourself. If it wasn't for your help, I might not have been able to reach here. Kang Yi felt even more ashamed in his heart when he saw the smile on Nanfeng Shinga's face. If Nanfeng Shinga's expression was cold, he might feel better. I wasn't able to help you become the holy successor and instead implicated you. What's there to thank me for? Kang Yi shook his head. He stared at Qin Wentian, the battle intent in his eyes was as intense as ever. He wanted nothing more than to fight again to wash away this humiliation. Nanfeng Shinga didn't say anything more. Kang Yi would definitely remember this defeat in his heart. And at this moment, Qin Wentian frowned. In another direction, Nanfeng Qingrua continued ascending. Her speed suddenly increased, even faster compared to Nanfeng Shinga and Namhuang Yunxi. She seemed to be catching up to them. What's going on? Was Nanfeng Qingrua intentionally concealing her strength before this? Qin Wendian turned his gaze over. He saw Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu walking side by side. Their immortal senses were focused on the parasol leaves, and at this moment, 2 leaves transformed into a flight of stairs that appeared before them. How can this be? Nanfeng Xingge also saw this scene. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light as she stared at the scene. This was no longer Nanfeng Qingrua alone comprehending the parasol leaves. Jiang Ziyu was actually able to do it as well. However, Jiang Ziyu wasn't someone from the Namhuang clan. Nanfeng Xingge, why is he able to do this? Qin Wendian asked. He could also tell that Jiang Ziyu was able to comprehend the mysteries behind the leaves of the parasol tree, while he and Kong Yi had no way to do so. The cultivation methods of the Jiang clan are extremely mysterious. It's rumored that all of them have cultivated Buddhist innate techniques, including some extremely powerful immortal arts that contain boundless possibilities. In the past, no one from the Jiang clan has ever entered the inheritance grounds of our Namhuang clan before. Jiang Ziyu is the first. Nanfeng Xingge slowly spoke. I heard that the Buddhist path has a supreme innate technique named the Heavenly Gaze technique. It can see through all illusions and see through the essence of the parasol leaves. Could it be that Jiang Ziyu has cultivated this technique and is able to see through the secrets of the parasol leaves? But if this is the case, if he doesn't marry into our Namhuang clan in the future, wouldn't that mean? Nanfeng Xingge furrowed her brows. What are those parasol leaves? Qin Wendian asked. Items recorded in the ancient records of our Namhuang clan, as well as a secret art that belongs to our Namhuang clan. This is a test of our familiarity with the ancient records of the Namhuang clan, as well as our comprehension abilities. Nanfeng Xingge spoke. Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu's speed grew faster and faster. They had already surpassed Nanfeng Xingge and were gradually catching up to Qin Wendian and Namhuang Yunqi. Most probably, it wouldn't be long before they surpassed them as well. Does your Namhuang clan allow such a situation to happen? Qin Wendian asked. But Jiang Ziyu was invited by Nanfeng Qingrua and can be considered a guest. Even if he managed to pry into the secrets of our Namhuang clan has no way to blame him. Nanfeng Xingge spoke. This was a voluntary action of the Namhuang clan, it was an invitation. In addition, Jiang Ziyu was a disciple of the Jiang clan, the Namhuang clan had no reason to do anything to him. What about Nanfeng Qingrua? She should know about this, right? Why is she so daring? Qin Wendian asked. In such a situation, she would become the holy successor of this generation and obtain the inheritance of the ancestral lands. Her status would be extraordinary, who can say anything at that time? Nanfeng Xingge replied. Both Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu weren't simple characters. In that case, we can only stop Jiang Ziyu. Qin Wendian emotionlessly spoke. If both Nanfeng Qingrua and Jiang Ziyu comprehended the inheritance, Namhuang Yunqi would surely lose. This was cheating. Qin Wendian and Jiang Ziyu flew higher and higher. Nanfeng Xingge, who was in the middle, had to raise her head to see them. Kong Yi walked to her side and asked, "Have you given up?" No, the one who obtained the inheritance in the end wouldn't be me. Regardless of Qin Wendian or Jiang Ziyu, both of them aren't simple characters. Nanfeng Xingge stared at the 2 figures in the air. So it turned out that she was merely a spectator. Jiang Ziyu. At this moment, Qin Wendian called out. A moment later, his voice rang out in Jiang Ziyu's mind. However, it was as though he didn't hear it and continued comprehending the inheritance. The parasol leaves landed on the ground. Chapter 1051. When Qin Wendian saw that Jiang Ziyu was ignoring him, the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. He grabbed out with his hand, traversing through space as a gigantic palm imprint directly blasted towards Jiang Ziyu. He knew that Jiang Ziyu definitely knew what he was doing. And as expected, at the instant the gigantic palm imprint slammed down, Jiang Ziyu lifted his hand and blasted out. Resplendent runic light circulated around his arm, penetrating through everything. That terrifying attack transformed into a long spear that slammed into Qin Wentian's palm imprint, causing it to explode. Jiang Ziyu didn't even frown as he continued comprehending. Jiang Ziyu is so powerful. Nanfeng Shenga spoke when she saw this scene. The Jiang clan was one of the 3 supreme clans of the southern regions. They had the smallest population and were also the most mysterious. However, their combat prowess was extremely high. Just like the Namhuang clan, the Jiang clan also had their own inheritances. This Jiang Ziyu, who came out to roam the southern regions, was most probably one of the most outstanding characters of the Jiang clan in this generation. Qin Wentian could sense the tyrannical energy radiating from Jiang Ziyu. At this moment, he could already confirm that this Jiang Ziyu most probably had a 5th-ranked king-grade immortal foundation that could be described as perfect. Such a character, among the holy maidens of the Southern Phoenix clan, only Namhuang Yunshi could stand shoulder to shoulder with him. The other holy maidens would find it hard to defeat him. This indicated that if the Namhuang clan didn't want to be suppressed by Jiang Ziyu in this generation, they had to let Namhuang Yunshi obtain the inheritance of the ancestral lands and become the holy successor. The might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. Qin Wentian radiated a tyrannical battle intent. It wouldn't be so easy for Jiang Ziyu to join forces with Nanfeng Qingrua and obtain the inheritance of the ancestral lands. God's hand appeared, an ancient halberd appeared in Qin Wentian's hands. He abruptly slashed out explosively, causing the ancient halberd to expand explosively, becoming incomparably gigantic. It traversed through space, exuding an incomparably terrifying destructive might as it shot towards Jiang Ziyu. A terrifying immortal light gushed forth from Jiang Ziyu. His arm was like a divine weapon, shining with the light of armor. With a lift of his hand, a gigantic silvery white spear appeared, colliding with the ancient halberd. Thunderous sounds rang out unceasingly, the spear shattered unceasingly. However, the power of the ancient halberd also weakened unceasingly. When it slammed into Jiang Ziyu's arm, it felt like it had struck a divine weapon. With a thunderous boom, the ancient halberd shattered. Jiang Ziyu's arm was comparable to an immortal-ranked weapon. At this moment, Jiang Ziyu opened his eyes and stared in Qin Wentian's direction. His eyes were terrifying, as though they could see through everything. When he stared at Qin Wentian, a look of disdain could be seen in his eyes. Boom! A fearsome might gushed forth from Jiang Ziyu. His body glowed with a resplendent armor, exuding an incomparably sharp aura. He who was radiating immortal might was like a king among immortals. A fearsome energy converged in the air. Jiang Ziyu lifted his hand as a gigantic vortex appeared, transforming into an incomparably sharp long spear. He stabbed out with his spear, ignoring the distance between them, aiming for Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian had a solemn expression on his face. Fighting against Jiang Ziyu would be his greatest challenge in the Southern Phoenix ancestral grounds. This person wasn't simple at all. God's hand brought with it a violent might, capable of leveling everything. It collided with Qin Wentian's long spear, using force to break force. Jiang Ziyu's spear was as fast as lightning, and with a single flash, he was able to unleash over 10 spear strikes. In just an instant, this entire space was buried by his spear. Qin Wentian's body expanded in size, blocking Namhuang Yunshi who was behind him. His God's hand radiated boundless might, capable of toppling mountains and overturning seas, containing a might that could shatter the heavens and rend the earth. Roar! A thunderous roar rang out. A gigantic shadow clad in armor appeared behind Jiang Ziyu. This shadow was none other than a white tiger king, exuding an aura that could shake the heavens, capable of slaughtering everything under the heavens. The white tiger was a god of slaughter, the symbol of slaughter. Jiang Ziyu's spear swept through the heavens and earth. Every spear strike caused the white tiger to roar in rage, radiating killing intent that permeated the heavens and earth. The shadow of the white tiger pounced over, exuding a fearsome might. Qin Wentian's battle didn't stop. His immortal foundation manifested as numerous Jinho greater demons appeared within his halberd arts. The Jinho greater demons clashed against the white tiger, causing thunderous roars to echo out. Both of them were extremely ferocious demons. The white tiger symbolized slaughter, while the Jinho greater demons were able to slay true dragons, feasting on them after they were defeated. Spear and halberd collided, the white tiger against the Jinho greater demons. For a moment, the heavens and earth seemed to be collapsing. Even as they fought, they didn't forget to protect the people behind them. Nanfeng Qingrua and Namhuang Yunxi weren't disturbed at all. They continued to focus on comprehending the parasol leaves as they continued upwards. These two are so powerful. Nanfeng Xinga silently mused. She watched the battle between the two of them. Both of their combat prowess far surpassed her. One was a genius from the Jiang clan, while the other was a genius who rose up in the city of ancient emperors. The two of them had something in common: they had both obtained the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings and were characters with unparalleled combat prowess. Namhuang Yunxi is about to catch up to Nanfeng Qingrua. Nanfeng Xinga stared at the two holy maidens. There was no need for Qin Wentian to win. As long as he didn't lose and didn't allow Jiang Ziyu to focus on comprehending the parasol leaves, Namhuang Yunxi would win. Naturally, since Jiang Ziyu and Nanfeng Qingrua entered the ancestral lands together, they wouldn't allow Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunxi to have their way so easily. Rumble. And as expected, at this instant, a terrifying light erupted from Jiang Ziyu. The armor on his body seemed to have shattered and was being reforged. His entire body seemed to be formed from innumerable immortal talismans that contained terrifying might. When Jiang Ziyu attacked again, those immortal talismans descended from the sky, blasting towards Qin Wentian together with his attacks. Each of those immortal talismans contained supreme might, and as they bore down on Qin Wentian, the entire space seemed to be filled with them. These immortal talismans were like mysterious ancient characters that contained the great Tao of laws, as well as attacks of the great Tao. Buddhic chants could be heard in the air, akin to the music of the great Tao. At this instant, Qin Wentian was enveloped by the boundless might of the attacks. There was simply no place for him to hide. Jiang Ziyu's attacks were too tyrannical and sharp. Qin Wentian's entire body shimmered with a mysterious light, resembling ancient runes. His body seemed indestructible, sparkling and translucent, flawless. His god's hand exuded a heaven-shaking might, as well as a supreme demonic qi. The might of his perfect saint-grade immortal foundation enveloped him. With a roar of rage, primordial chaos swallowed everything, wanting to devour the boundless might of the attacks. He lifted his palms and attacked. The true Ho slaughtered everything, while the great rock ravaged the heavens and earth. At this instant, the destructive might of the two of them clashed madly, causing the entire space to tremble unstably. Jiang Ziyu's expression was as calm as ever. His eyes seemed to be able to see through everything, incomparably deep. Rumbling sounds rang out as he released his immortal foundation. Jiang Ziyu's immortal foundation floated in the air as many phenomena manifested around him. This was an immortal foundation that was close to perfection. This immortal foundation was actually an ancient Buddha, an undying ancient Buddha. In an instant, Buddhic light illuminated the heavens and earth, containing supreme might within. Buddhas aren't benevolent Buddhas. The Jiang clan cultivates Buddhas, but they aren't benevolent at all. Qin Wentian silently mused. This ancient Buddha might seem peaceful, but its might was extremely terrifying and dangerous to the extreme. There was a faint intent of slaughter within it, as though it wanted to prove its Tao through killing. Rumble. Light flashed as a supreme ancient imprint transformed into a gigantic palm imprint, capable of crushing the heavens and earth as it blasted towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's immortal might gushed forth to the extreme as an immortal foundation appeared. This was also a flawless immortal foundation that floated in the air, circulating immortal light. This was a human-shaped immortal foundation that radiated immortal light. It was truly flawless. Boom! Above the immortal foundation, a destructive light radiated forth, as well as a suppressive might, transforming into a phenomenon of the immortal foundation. The light illuminated the area, destroying all the incoming imprint attacks. In the air, the destructive might was still there, the two of them were evenly matched. Jiang Ziyu's eyes gradually grew less calm. On the contrary, Qin Wentian's expression was calm. Nam Huang Yunxi surpassed Nam Huang Yunxi, climbing up step by step. If Jiang Ziyu didn't interfere, the position of the holy successor would belong to Nam Huang Yunxi. The gigantic Buddha manifested a white tiger diagram. When Jiang Ziyu lifted his palms to attack, the killing god white tiger grew even more terrifying, resembling a mount of an ancient Buddha, exuding boundless killing might. Qin Wentian's expression was as calm as ever. That perfect saint-grade immortal foundation manifested numerous terrifying true phantoms that frenziedly attacked. Qin Wentian's body was gigantic, he stood there unmoving. No matter how Jiang Ziyu attacked, he couldn't make him retreat a single step. Boom! A burst of intense light erupted as Jiang Ziyu directly vanished from his location. He soared through the air and instantly appeared before Qin Wentian. His speed was so fast that no one could react to it. A killing god white tiger slashed down, exuding an indomitable killing might, wanting to destroy everything. Such a sudden attack was simply unblockable. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation radiated boundless light. The ancient halberd and terrifying greater demons suddenly appeared before him, suppressing him with destructive might. Terrifying destructive light circulated around him. Qin Wentian's god's hands stretched out, borrowing the power of his immortal foundation to unleash a supreme might that could suppress the heavens and earth. With a thunderous boom, Jiang Ziyu's body vanished. He stared at Qin Wentian, his eyes incomparably cold, even colder than weapons. It's almost impossible for anyone to establish a perfect immortal foundation at the first level of immortal foundation. Also, your god's hand is an ultimate art created by an ancient emperor. You have many secrets on you, and any one of these secrets can cause a calamity to befall you. Jiang Ziyu stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. His eyes gleamed with wisdom, as though he could see through Qin Wentian. Your fifth-tier immortal foundation is at the king grade. How can ordinary people achieve that? Your innate techniques are also extremely powerful. Could it be that you have no secrets on you? Qin Wentian stared at Jiang Ziyu as he replied. The descendants of my Jiang clan roam the immortal realms, how many people would dare to touch us? Jiang Ziyu stared at Qin Wentian. Evidently, the ancient Jiang clan wasn't something the Emperor Qinbian could compare to. Their foundations were too deep, even the Dongshengshan Gate couldn't be considered anything in the eyes of the Jiang clan. What do you want to say? Qin Wentian asked. I don't need to contend for the inheritance of the ancestral lands. I want to invite you to my Jiang clan as a guest. I wonder if you are willing. Jiang Ziyu stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. Chapter 1052. Qin Wentian stared at Jiang Ziyu. He didn't expect that Jiang Ziyu would suddenly change the topic and actually invite him to the ancient Jiang clan as a guest. However, Jiang Ziyu's heart was filled with unfathomable intentions. It was naturally impossible for him to go. He replied, earlier you said that the secret on me would cause a great calamity to befall you. Now, you are inviting me to the ancient Jiang clan. Don't you find it laughable? If I join the ancient Jiang clan, wouldn't I be at your mercy? I guarantee that if you are willing to go, I will respect you as a guest and treat you with the utmost respect. Jiang Ziyu smiled. His eyes flickered with a mysterious light, as though there was always a sense of self-confidence hidden within, causing others to be unable to see through him. An ancient clan that has existed for countless years, who knows what methods they have? Most probably, they can easily control the thoughts of others. Qin Wentian coldly laughed in his heart. Jiang Ziyu was too naive, he wasn't such a foolish person. I'm not free. Qin Wentian faintly spoke. You don't dare. Jiang Ziyu provoked. You want me to go to your Jiang clan with just a single sentence? Do you have that much face? Qin Wentian coldly laughed. Wasn't Jiang Ziyu's provocation a little too laughable? Hee hee. Jiang Ziyu laughed, he wasn't surprised. It would be strange if Qin Wentian agreed. Inclining his head, he stared at the two silhouettes that were flying higher and higher. Jiang Ziyu spoke in a low voice, seems like you are determined to obstruct me today. This was originally a battle between the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. We are only protecting them. You have done too much. Qin Wentian replied. Since I am a protector, why wouldn't I dare to use my strength to help someone become the holy successor? Your way of thinking is the laughable one. However, given your strength, I truly have no way to ignore your existence. Seems like this time around, the position of the holy successor of the Namhuang clan will be seized by Namhuang Yunshi. Jiang Ziyu said calmly, as if he was talking about something that had nothing to do with him. He was just a spectator and did not care much about the fight for the holy successor. Jiang Ziyu's words gave Qin Wentian a feeling. It was like him coming here to help Nanfeng Qingrua obtain the position of the holy successor was merely a tempering exercise for him. His state of heart was extraordinary and he could see things very calmly. If he could fight, he would do his best. If he couldn't, he would instantly calm down and toss everything to the back of his mind, completely forgetting about it. Such a calm state of mind was akin to cultivating in a Buddhist art, terrifying to the extreme. Kang Yi was Nanfeng Xinga's helper. His state of mind was far inferior to Jiang Ziyu. Qin Wentian, although your combat power is very strong, you haven't been able to use it to your heart's content in this battle. If you fight with all your strength, you're likely to lose. Jiang Ziyu seemed to be very interested in Qin Wentian. Before this, he didn't speak much, but ever since he fought against Qin Wentian, his interest in Qin Wentian was piqued. He wanted to see through Qin Wentian. This genius who looked even younger than him actually had such combat prowess. This truly made him curious. Earlier when he fought against Qin Wentian, Jiang Ziyu saw many extraordinary aspects of Jiang Ziyu. There's no meaning in discussing matters of the unknown. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Jiang Ziyu was observing him, he was also observing him. Right now, he wasn't in a hurry. As long as Jiang Ziyu was here, Namhuang Yunshi would be able to win. There was nothing more he needed to do and he was more than happy to be idle. Indeed. Jiang Ziyu nodded in agreement. They said that you are in the immortal Qianbian gate. Are you a disciple of the Emperor Qianbian? What does this have to do with you? Qin Wentian asked. Jiang Ziyu smiled. If you didn't become a disciple of him, you can join my Jiang clan. I'll recommend you and I'll definitely nurture you well, treating you as a descendant of my Jiang clan. Naturally, even if you really became a disciple of my Jiang clan, you can change your sect. The foundations of any one of the three ancient clans of the southern region are incomparably deep. The immortal Qianbian Gate, a newly established power in the immortal realms, can't be compared to them. I believe you should be able to tell a thing or two from the Namhuang clan. Thank you for your kindness, but I have no interest in your Jiang clan at all. Qin Wentian replied. You are not a disciple of the Emperor Qianbian. Jiang Ziyu suddenly laughed. You can guess as you wish. Qin Wentian faintly replied. There's no need to guess, I already know the answer. Jiang Ziyu's smile was unfathomable. Qin Wentian stared at his eyes, only to feel that this man was truly a tough character to deal with. Could it be like what Nanfeng Xinga said, that he had cultivated the heavenly eyes of the Buddhist sect and was able to see through all illusions, even the thoughts of others? Wasn't this a little too terrifying? Nanfeng Xinga had been listening to their conversation. Kang Yi was beside her and she discovered that although Kang Yi could already be considered a genius at the peak of the southern region, he was still a few levels lower when compared to these two young men before her. Qin Wentian defeated him with a cultivation base at the first level of Immortal Foundation, while Jiang Ziyu was extremely mysterious, able to unravel the secrets of their Namhuang clan's parasol leaves. His combat prowess was also extremely terrifying. Seems like in this generation of the Jiang clan, Jiang Ziyu should be a demon-level character. He came out to temper himself, yet he actually chose to temper himself in the Namhuang clan. Such a temperament was truly terrifying. If this man matured, he would definitely be a terrifying character in the Jiang clan. Naturally, compared to Jiang Ziyu, Qin Wentian caused her to be even more shocked. After all, Jiang Ziyu was an elite of this generation of the Jiang clan and had the backing of an ancient clan. However, Qin Wendian was also so terrifying. With such potential, it was possible that he would lead an entire generation in the future. At this moment, a bright light suddenly flashed. Qin Wendian inclined his head and stared at the sky only to see a towering red light cascading down from above. Nam Huang Yunshi borrowed the power of the parasol staircase and had already reached the peak of this ancient parasol tree. Nanfeng Qingrua was ultimately still a little lacking. She inclined her head and stared upwards as a hint of disappointment could be seen in her eyes. Even after reaching this step, did she still fail? A beam of fiery light cascaded down from the sky, incinerating the parasol staircase. Nanfeng Qingrua's silhouette flashed as she floated downwards. Very swiftly, she arrived at the location where Qin Wendian and the others were at. She stood beside Jiang Ziyu as her beautiful eyes cast a deep glance at Qin Wendian. However, she merely smiled and spoke, "Sir Qin is truly awesome, you actually managed to send Nam Huang Yunshi to the position of the holy successor." "Holy Maiden Qingrua, do you think so?" Qin Wendian spoke. The reason why Nam Huang Yunshi could become the holy maiden was because of her own abilities. Her comprehension abilities are the strongest among all the holy maidens, hence, she was always ahead of them. All I can do is to protect her. If not, if Holy Maiden Qingrua's comprehension abilities surpassed Nam Huang Yunshi earlier, even with Jiang Ziyu around, I wouldn't be able to stop Holy Maiden Qingrua from ascending to the peak. Your words aren't without logic. However, the role of a protector is also extremely great. Xinga is one of the holy maidens of our Nam Huang clan with extraordinary comprehension abilities. But wasn't she also blocked by someone else? Nanfeng Qingrua smiled, her words causing Kong Yi to have a look of guilt on his face. It was because of his defeat that led to Nanfeng Xinga's failure. Since things have already passed, there's no need for Sister Qingrua to say anything more. Nanfeng Xinga casually smiled. Qin Wendian stared at the smiles in the eyes of the two holy maidens as he silently sighed in admiration at how extraordinary the Nam Huang clan was. These two holy maidens were both heaven's chosen and would surely have extraordinary accomplishments in the future. Okay, I won't say any more. But I really wish to go up and take a look. Nanfeng Qingrua inclined her head and stared in the direction of the parasol tree. Her eyes were filled with hidden bitterness as she stared at Qin Wendian. Her beautiful countenance caused Qin Wendian to be unable to endure it. The holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan were all fairy-like beauties. This was especially so for the two before him and Nam Huang Yunshi. They were the most beautiful among them. In addition, Qin Wendian still felt a little guilty in front of Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Xinga. This was especially so when he saw the bitterness in Nanfeng Qingrua's eyes. It was as though she knew something. Qin Wendian didn't dare to look her in the eye. And as they were conversing, at the top of the parasol tree, Nanfeng Yunshi had a look of pilgrimage on her face. Her beautiful eyes stared ahead as her heartbeat quickened involuntarily. In fact, Nam Huang Yunshi's breathing was somewhat hurried. There's no need to be nervous. An ethereal voice that seemed to originate from the primordial era drifted into Nam Huang Yunshi's ears. Her heart was still racing as she stared at the incomparably sacred parasol tree before her. In front of this golden parasol tree, there was actually a true phoenix. This phoenix was bathed in flames and its wings were extremely beautiful, incomparably holy. Its eyes were filled with wisdom and farsightedness, as though it could see through everything in the world. Are you the ancestor of my Nam Huang clan? Nam Huang Yunshi asked in a low voice. There was actually a phoenix residing in this ancestral land? This was simply shocking. You can be considered to be. I've existed together with the Nam Huang clan, from the birth of the Nam Huang clan until now. Although the old phoenix was right before her, its voice was still extremely ethereal. Nam Huang Yunshi could sense a hint of gentleness in its eyes, causing her to feel a sense of serenity. Child, your immortal foundation is very perfect. You're only a step away from establishing a perfect saint-grade immortal foundation. In this era, if you didn't have any miraculous encounters, you wouldn't be able to establish such a perfect immortal foundation. Also, I can sense that your body has been baptized before. The phoenix spoke. Nam Huang Yunshi nodded. When Yunshi was in the city of ancient emperors, I had a miraculous encounter and bathed in the light of the sacred luminance, cleansing my body and even obtained a method to cultivate my immortal foundation. The protector should be the same as you, right? Both of you should have encountered a miraculous encounter in the same place, right? The phoenix asked. Nam Huang Yunshi nodded. That's right. The phoenix smiled. After that, she asked, do you like him? Nam Huang Yunshi started. Her beautiful eyes stared at the phoenix before her. Did she like Qin Wentian? Before she entered the city of ancient emperors and met Qin Wentian, she had never thought that she would like someone else. But what about now? Tell me with your heart. This is very important. It's impossible for the Southern Phoenix matriarch to marry an outsider unless he is willing to marry into the Nam Huang clan. The phoenix gently spoke. Nam Huang Yunshi fell silent for a moment before she gave her answer. Chapter 1053. Qin Wentian and the others waited below. An instant later, a bright light flashed in the air as the parasol path appeared. Nam Huang Yunshi's voice drifted over, Qin Wentian, come up. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He stepped onto the parasol bridge and ascended step by step, feeling extremely curious in his heart. Why did Nam Huang Yunshi want him to go up? This was the ancestral ground of the Nam Huang clan. The inheritance belonged to Nam Huang Yunshi. Although he was a helper, to the Nam Huang clan, he was nothing more than an outsider. The beautiful eyes of Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Xinga flashed with a bright light. Qin Wentian actually went up. They inclined their heads. There was a holy light, but it gave off an illusory feeling. They couldn't see clearly what it was exactly. Jiang Ziyu, can you see through it? Nanfeng Xinga glanced at Jiang Ziyu, who was beside Nanfeng Qingrua, as she curiously asked. Jiang Ziyu shook his head. This is the most mysterious place in the ancestral ground of the Nam Huang clan. How can I see through it? Nanfeng Xinga nodded her head lightly. Only the holy successor had the qualifications to reach the other shore and receive the inheritance. Qin Wentian climbed up step by step. Finally, he arrived at the top of the parasol tree and saw a golden tree. The leaves on the tree were as bright as the sun, and over there, a mysterious and powerful saint beast, a phoenix, could be seen sitting there. It seemed to be an extremely ancient existence. Qin Wentian pays his respects to Senior. Upon seeing the ancient phoenix, Qin Wentian bowed. The ancestral ground of the Nam Huang clan actually had such a powerful saint beast. This wasn't a young saint beast but a true saint beast. It most probably had the power to destroy the heavens and earth and could even contend against peak-stage immortal emperors in the immortal realms. It was definitely an extremely powerful existence. Qin Wentian didn't dare to treat such a terrifying ancient phoenix as an ordinary demonic beast. His eyes were filled with respect. There's no need to be polite. The voice of the ancient phoenix was ethereal, extremely profound. The phoenix ancestor said that she wanted to talk to you. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian nodded. Right now, Nam Huang Yunshi was basking in holy light, exuding incomparable beauty. From now on, she was the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan. Her status was extremely high and she had great authority in the Nam Huang clan. She could directly mobilize many powerful immortal kings to serve her. More importantly, Nam Huang Yunshi would receive the inheritance of the phoenix ancestor and would be qualified to compete for the position of the empress of the Nam Huang clan. I saw Yi's supreme art from you. The old phoenix's voice was still ethereal as if it came from all directions. Senior, you also know ancient Emperor Yi? Qin Wentian asked. The old phoenix lived in the ancestral land, and he thought that she would not set foot in the outside world. I'm a follower of the Nam Huang clan. My knowledge of the matters in the immortal realms far surpasses yours. The old phoenix spoke. Qin Wentian knew that he had misspoken and could only smile. He had indeed thought wrongly. Such a supreme existence, an ancient phoenix, the things she knew most probably far surpassed his imagination. Her existence was as ancient as the Nam Huang clan. He once ruled an era and his talent was unparalleled. When he was young, he had already displayed shocking talent. His ultimate art, God's hand, caused people to tremble in fear upon hearing its name. It's a true supreme art. The God's hand you cultivated can only be considered as an entry-level art. You basically haven't comprehended the essence of God's hand. The old phoenix spoke. Junior knows. The God's hand I cultivated in the city of ancient emperors is indeed only at the entry level. Qin Wentian nodded. That was the power he cultivated when he was at the celestial phenomenon realm. Let me show you some things. The old phoenix spoke. As a bright light flashed, a fiery red space appeared in the air. An image appeared, it was a scene. A supreme figure stood in the air and before him, there were many experts from an incomparably powerful power. Both sides seemed to be in a standoff. The expert in the air radiated a boundless divine glow, instantly becoming incomparably dazzling. It was like all the energy in his body was being unleashed. His palm stretched out as a divine-like palm slammed downwards. This palm covered a distance of 10 million miles, containing a supreme destructive might, capable of destroying everything. Qin Wentian's heart trembled violently when he saw this. This supreme figure was frenziedly clashing with the experts below. Each and every strike was heaven-shaking, yet this God's hand seemed to have transformed into a wheel that could level the heavens and earth. Everything in the world would be annihilated. With a single palm strike, no one could block it. Boundless attacks. A power that had existed for countless years, radiating a territory of tens of thousands of miles, yet under the might of a single palm strike, the entire sky and earth trembled as the earth crumbled. It's leveled. Qin Wentian stared in that direction as his body trembled. The strength of a supreme existence was simply beyond his imagination. However, at this moment, he only saw the eyes of that supreme figure flashing. He stared in the direction of the sky and grabbed out with his palm. In an instant, his palm seemed to have traversed a boundless distance, penetrating through the void. That space seemed to have been torn apart and a supreme expert who was extremely far away could only watch as his countenance drastically changed. He wanted to flee, but under the envelopment of God's hand, there was no way for him to escape. This God's hand grabbed that supreme expert from the other side of the void. That supreme expert struggled madly, but God's hand directly transformed into a beam of destructive light, destroying him. The light screen dissipated as the scene disappeared. Qin Wentian sighed in his heart. The strength of a supreme existence was simply too terrifying. This God's hand was simply too terrifying. That supreme figure was naturally none other than ancient Emperor Yi. Back then, when ancient Emperor Yi destroyed an enemy clan, he destroyed a powerful ancient clan with a few attacks. No matter how many years of foundation you have, no matter how many immortals you have, before a true supreme expert, you would still be unable to withstand a single strike. Prison Phoenix slowly spoke. Even if the Nam Huang clan seems to be incomparably powerful, with boundless glory and deep foundations, if a supreme character that's close to the level of divinity appears, the Nam Huang clan would still be destroyed. Senior, you are thinking too far ahead. Qin Wentian spoke. It's not that far. You are still young and 10 million years might be too far away to you. But to me, to an ancient clan, 10,000 years is merely the blink of an eye. And in 10,000 years, how many geniuses would there be in the immortal realms? And in 100,000 years, how many new geniuses would there be? In the vast immortal realms, there would always be undercurrents surging in the dark, endless wars. Times of peace and times of chaos, it usually only requires a single stroke of luck. The old phoenix calmly spoke. She wasn't sighing with emotion, it was just that after living for countless years, she had seen too much and experienced too many chaotic eras. The things she saw naturally weren't something that a young man like Qin Wentian, who wasn't even 100 years old, could compare to. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. Indeed, how long has he lived? In the vast history of the immortal realms, he was basically insignificant, like a drop of water in the ocean. The things he had seen and heard were simply too little. It's just that he felt somewhat puzzled. He didn't know why the old phoenix of the Nam Huang clan would tell him this. I know where Yi's ultimate art, God's hand, is at. The old phoenix spoke, her words causing Qin Wentian's eyes to flash as he stared at the old phoenix. As expected of an ancient existence that has lived for countless years, she even knew about this. Senior, please guide me. Qin Wentian bowed, not being polite at all. Since the old phoenix spoke so much to him, it was clear that she had the intention of telling him. If not, why would she ask him to come here? You can stay in the southern Phoenix Immortal City for a period of time. Nam Huang Yunshi needs to enter closed-door seclusion for a period of time, but it won't be too long. When she exits, she will naturally bring you there. The old phoenix spoke. Right, many thanks, Senior. Qin Wentian didn't say anything more. You can return first. The rest of you can leave as well. The old phoenix slowly spoke. Qin Wentian bowed and retreated. After he left, the eyes of the old phoenix turned to Nam Huang Yunshi. Have you decided to give up? Yes, old ancestor. Nam Huang Yunshi smiled and nodded. Okay. The old phoenix nodded. Sit down. Nam Huang Yunshi sat down cross-legged. A moment later, resplendent phoenix runic light flashed, enveloping her body. As for Qin Wentian, he returned to the ground. The gazes of everyone landed on him, feeling very curious about what Qin Wentian saw up there. Don't ask me. The matters regarding the ancestral lands of the Nam Huang clan shouldn't be divulged, right? Qin Wentian stared at Nanfeng Qingrua and Nanfeng Shinga as he smiled. Naturally. Nanfeng Shinga smiled, she didn't say anything. At this moment, a gust of wind gusted by, causing the leaves of the parasol tree to flutter. The space behind them vanished as the silhouettes of the others appeared. It's time for us to leave. Nanfeng Qingrua spoke. After that, the group of them returned to where they came from. Very swiftly, they regrouped with Nanfeng Aoshue, Nanfeng Shihua, and the other holy maidens. Nanfeng Aoshue's eyes were cold as she stared at everyone. She naturally noticed that one of the holy maidens was missing. It was none other than Nam Huang Yunshi. Yunshi obtained the inheritance? Nanfeng Yi's beautiful eyes turned to Nanfeng Shinga and Nanfeng Qingrua. Although they were competitors, they were also sisters of the Nam Huang clan. Some of them had good relationships with others, while some had bad relationships with others. Nanfeng Shinga nodded lightly. Brother Qin has truly displayed his brilliance in the ancestral lands. Everyone glanced at Qin Wentian. Jun Mengchen and Purgatory also walked over. Jun Mengchen flashed a thumbs up at Qin Wentian as he laughed in a low voice. Senior brother Qin, in the future, we will have another holy successor as our soulmate. Don't be serious. Qin Wentian glared at Jun Mengchen. Let's go out. Fine, that golden eagle still wants to fight against me. Jun Mengchen shot a provocative glance at Zhongzhan, causing Zhongzhan's eyes to gleam with sharpness. He also glanced at Qin Wentian. He didn't expect that he would be the one to emerge victorious. Protecting Nam Huang Yunshi was the last one standing. What a surprise. The group of them walked out of the ancestral lands. The elders of the Nam Huang clan were all here as well. When they saw everyone exiting the ancestral lands, they exchanged mutual glances and naturally knew the result. They didn't expect that Nam Huang Yunshi, who had a weaker cultivation base, would really be able to seize the position of holy successor. Everyone, you have all worked hard. A person spoke to the crowd. The Nam Huang clan has already prepared an immortal banquet. Everyone, please enjoy it before you leave. If you are willing to stay as a guest in my Nam Huang clan, you can stay for a few days. The Nam Huang clan will definitely treat you well. The eyes of everyone flickered with different lights, each having their own thoughts. The competition for the position of holy successor of the Nam Huang clan has finally concluded. Chapter 1054. A month has passed since the battle for the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan. During these days, Qin Wentian spent most of his time roaming around the southern Phoenix Immortal City. This ancient city truly broadened his horizons. However, what made Qin Wendian extremely depressed was that Nanfeng Yunxi had yet to come out from the ancestral lands. He was still thinking about the location of the secret art of ancient Emperor Yi, God's hand. He was already so powerful after cultivating the elementary level of God's hand. If he could obtain the complete secret art of ancient Emperor Yi, his combat prowess would surely be even more terrifying. In the Namhuang clan, in an ancient and majestic building, Qin Wendian, Jun Mengchen, and Purgatory walked towards a courtyard. Not long later, they arrived at this place. The sound of a zither could be heard, extremely pleasing to the ears. When the serving girl saw Qin Wendian, she smiled. Young Miss said that Sir Qin can enter directly. There's no need to report your arrival. Many thanks. Qin Wendian smiled at the serving girl. After that, he followed the sound of the zither and entered the courtyard, arriving at a place with beautiful scenery. There was a beautiful maiden sitting in front of a fake mountain in the middle of a pond, playing the zither. The music was beautiful, the maiden was beautiful as well. The scenery was like a painting, causing one to be unable to extricate themselves from it. At this moment, the music stopped. Qin Wendian praised, "Not only is Miss Xinga proficient in calligraphy and painting, your skills in the zither are also superb." So it turned out that this young woman was none other than the holy maiden of the Southern Phoenix clan, Nanfeng Xinga. Back then, after the selection for the holy successor concluded, everyone didn't enjoy the immortal banquet and simply bid their farewells. As protectors of the Southern Phoenix clan, the holy maidens they were protecting didn't manage to obtain the position of the holy successor. They weren't willing to stay for long and had no intention to stay as guests in the Southern Phoenix clan. Only Qin Wendian wanted to wait for Nanfeng Yunxi and would occasionally stay in the Southern Phoenix clan. When Nanfeng Yunxi wasn't around, Nanfeng Xinga was the one to receive him. Nanfeng Xinga was intelligent and intelligent. She was well-educated and easy to get close to. However, she didn't stay in the Namhuang clan all the time. She would only come back occasionally and spend most of her time in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. Sir Qin praises me too much. Nanfeng Xinga smiled and spoke of love. Although I haven't stayed in the Namhuang clan for a few days, I've seen that Miss Xinga is not only excellent in zither painting, but also elegant in playing the flute. It's also fascinating outside of martial arts. Qin Wendian sincerely praised. Being able to have such attainments in music, Nanfeng Xinga's talent was clear to see. Back then, only she and Namhuang Yunxi were evenly matched. If it wasn't for Kang Yi being defeated by him, it was unknown who would be the victor between Nanfeng Xinga and Namhuang Yunxi. Nanfeng Xinga elegantly smiled. "Sir Qin, are you thinking of Yunxi again? Miss Xinga is making fun of me again." Qin Wendian shrugged. Generally speaking, how long will the Saintess of Inheritance stay in the ancestral land? It's been a month. Young Master Qin, a day apart feels like 3 autumns. Nanfeng Xinga gently smiled. However, it shouldn't be too long. Young Master Qin will be able to see Yunxi very soon. Nanfeng Xinga was thinking that since Qin Wendian couldn't bear to leave and wanted to wait for Namhuang Yunxi, there should be some feelings between the two of them. Staring at the smile that was not a smile on her face, Qin Wendian spoke, "Miss Xinga, don't let your thoughts run wild. I really have something to do with Yunxi." "What am I thinking about?" Nanfeng Xinga's eyelashes fluttered. Qin Wendian speechlessly shook his head. This Xinga of the Namhuang clan was originally already as beautiful as a painting. Now, she even had a hint of mischievousness to her. Staring at the speechless expression on Qin Wendian's face, Nanfeng Xinga smiled. "Speaking of which, it's very rare for the holy maiden of my Namhuang clan to roam outside. The majority of her time is spent in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. Hence, the geniuses she knows, other than those she knows in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City, would they be in the City of Ancient Emperors? Yunxi and you got to know each other in the City of Ancient Emperors. If I got to know you first, would you come here to protect me? Miss Xinga is beautiful and elegant. If we were friends before, I naturally wouldn't reject you." Qin Wendian smiled. In that case, thank you. Nanfeng Xinge smiled, as though she was very satisfied with Qin Wendian's reply. When Qin Wendian and Nanfeng Xinge were conversing, outside the Namhuang clan, many figures appeared. These figures came from all directions and were divided into different camps. They directly walked towards the entrance of the Namhuang clan with solemn expressions, as though they had something to do with the Namhuang clan. The guards of the Namhuang clan instantly appeared, blocking the way as they stared at the incoming figures. Who are all of you? Someone asked. These people all exuded extraordinary auras and seemed to be extraordinary characters. Disciples from Zidi's sect are here to pay a visit. One of the guards spoke, his words causing the expressions of the guards to flicker. Zidi was an extremely powerful immortal emperor character. These people were actually from Zidi's sect. Disciples from the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's sect are here to pay a visit. Another young man spoke. His gaze was sharp as he stared ahead, causing the guards to feel that something was amiss. Although the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor wasn't as famous as Zidi, he was still an immortal emperor and was the one who established the Dongshengshan Gate. Disciples from the Xian Emperor's sect are here to pay a visit. Another person spoke. Disciples from the Shao Emperor's sect are here to pay a visit. An expert spoke, causing the expressions of the guards to change. There were actually 4 immortal emperors who came to pay a visit. This wasn't a minor matter. Everyone, please allow me to pass on the message. The guard spoke. After that, he walked towards the Namhuang clan. The people who came were patiently waiting outside, they weren't in a hurry. Not long after, a group of experts arrived. They swept their gazes over the guards and noticed that the strength of these immortal emperors weren't very strong. Clearly, they weren't here for the Namhuang clan. But naturally, if they wanted to target the Namhuang clan, it would only be sufficient if these 4 immortal emperors personally came. We pay our respects to the seniors of the Namhuang clan. The person who came was also very polite, bowing to the Namhuang clan. Young heroes, please enter. The Namhuang clan expert didn't ask anything and directly invited everyone to enter. No matter what purpose these people had, at the very least, the Namhuang clan still had to show the proper etiquette. Instruct our men to prepare the immortal banquet. Someone commanded. A group of people then entered the Namhuang clan. For a major power like the Namhuang clan, how efficient would they be? They only needed a short period of time to prepare the immortal banquet. After everyone was seated, a manager of the Namhuang clan toasted everyone. After that, he asked, I wonder why all the young heroes have come to my Namhuang clan. Senior, may I ask if Qin Wendian is in the Namhuang clan? A disciple from Zidi's sect asked. The eyes of the Namhuang clan expert flashed. These people were all here for Qin Wendian. I'm not very sure. Sir Qin is a guest of my Namhuang clan. Maybe he is here. Do you all have any business with him? That person replied. I won't hide it from Senior. Qin Wendian has something to do with the death of our young master. We wish to bring him back. The disciple from Zidi's sect spoke. The expert from the Namhuang clan frowned. He then glanced at the others and asked, and who are you all? Qin Wendian killed hundreds of our Dongshengshan Gate's disciples. Our hatred for him is extremely deep. Qin Wendian killed my younger brother Xian Xing, the son of the Xian Emperor, Xian Yang, personally arrived. Numerous voices rang out. The experts from the Namhuang clan furrowed their brows. These people came at the same time, wanting to interrogate Qin Wendian, wanting to capture him. How could there be such a coincidence? Also, how vast was the immortal realms? Even to immortal emperors, it was extremely vast. It was impossible for them to know where Qin Wendian was. There was only one explanation. Someone told them that Qin Wendian was in the Namhuang clan. At the same time, that person also informed Qin Wendian's enemies. Clearly, that person was very familiar with Qin Wendian. The experts of the Southern Phoenix clan instantly understood that the person who wanted to harm Qin Wendian was none other than one of the protectors of the Southern Phoenix clan. In addition, the person who wanted to harm Qin Wentian was none other than one of the protectors of the Southern Phoenix clan. The eyes of everyone turned to the expert from the Namhuang clan. However, that Namhuang clan expert's gaze landed on a person beside him as he asked, "Is Qin Wentian in the clan now?" "He is with Miss Xinga." That person replied in a low voice. "Go and invite Qin Wentian over." That expert instructed another person. That person nodded and departed. Not long after, in Nanfeng Xinga's courtyard, Qin Wentian already knew that the experts from the Four Peak Powers had arrived. His eyes flashed with coldness as he spoke in a low voice, "Seems like I, Qin, have offended someone during the battle for the position of holy successor. How despicable, to think of such a method." Jun Mengchen unhappily spoke. Nanfeng Xinga also frowned. After that, she spoke, "Don't worry, the Namhuang clan won't hand Qin Wentian over. I will accompany you to take a look." "Many thanks." Qin Wentian understood Nanfeng Xinga's good intentions. Nanfeng Xinga didn't mind it and smiled. The group of them then headed over together. Not long after, Qin Wentian and Nanfeng Xinga arrived at the banquet. He even saw a few familiar faces. Qin Wentian. Xian Yang's reaction was the greatest. He stood up and coldly stared at Qin Wentian. Beside him, the daughter of the Shao Emperor, Shao Lingyue, was present as well. Her beautiful eyes were similarly cold. Glancing at Nanfeng Xinga who was beside Qin Wentian, she silently cursed in her heart. Seems like this Qin Wentian lived a comfortable life, never lacking beauties by his side. This Nanfeng Xinga's beauty wasn't in any way inferior to Namhuang Yunxi. She was extremely beautiful. "Everyone, it must have been tough for you all to come here from so far away." Qin Wentian swept his gaze over everyone, his eyes cold. His gaze then landed on a young man. This young man's eyes gleamed with sharpness, exuding a cold intent. "So your cultivation base is so low." Qin Wentian spoke to the young man as a mocking expression appeared on his face. This young man was none other than the son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, Dongxing Ting. Dongxing Ting's eyes flashed with coldness. "Your cultivation base is only at the first level of Immortal Foundation. You dare to say that my cultivation base is low? Back then when you were so lofty, staring down at me from the heavens, what cultivation base was I at? Low-level celestial phenomenon. What about now?" Qin Wentian laughed. "In addition, although your cultivation base is higher than mine, I really don't place you, the son of that old dog Eastern sage, in my eyes at all." Rumble. As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, a surge of killing intent gushed forth from Dongxing Ting, exuding an extremely cold aura. Qin Wentian didn't mind it at all as he stared at Dongxing Ting. If it was possible, he wanted nothing more than to kill Dongxing Ting right here and now. Back then, when the Dongxing Heaven Emperor didn't care about the lives of the people in his particle world, Qin Wentian had already vowed that he would uproot the Dongshengshan Gate completely. Chapter 1055. Dongxing Ting's eyes were like sharp blades, able to pierce through people. Just like what Qin Wentian said, back then when he and the Dongxing Heaven Emperor came to this particle world to recruit disciples, how could he possibly place this person before him in his eyes? In the eyes of Dongxing Ting, Qin Wentian was merely an ant from a country bumpkin world. Early-stage celestial phenomenon ascendants couldn't even be considered an ant. He could kill Qin Wentian with a wave of his hand and even felt disdain to kill Qin Wentian. At that time, he would never have imagined that Qin Wentian would become his opponent, killing so many experts of his Dongshengshan Gate, refusing to take him as a master, humiliating the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, humiliating the Dongshengshan Gate, killing hundreds of disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate and even killing a personal disciple of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. All of these were things he had never imagined. Right now, the Emperor Qianbian was protecting him and behind him stood the immortal Qianbian Gate. It wouldn't be so easy for them to kill him. This time around, when they came to the Namhuang clan to demand for Qin Wentian actually said that Qin Wentian was the son of that old dog Eastern sage. Senior should have already seen it. This young man's character is extremely bad and he doesn't even have the slightest bit of respect for seniors. I hope that senior can hand him over to us. Dong Xingting spoke to the experts of the Nam Huang clan. Knowing that Qin Wentian was in the southern Phoenix Immortal City, they could send experts to kill Qin Wentian. However, in the southern Phoenix Immortal City, the ancient southern Phoenix clan was akin to gods. Nothing that happened here could be hidden from them. Regardless of whether they killed him openly or in the dark, as long as Qin Wentian died, they would be able to find out. This was a serious provocation to the Nam Huang clan. Many years ago, there was an immortal emperor who relied on his strength to kill an expert in the southern Phoenix Immortal City. After that, this immortal emperor was hunted down by the Nam Huang clan and eventually died. This was the rule. If someone disobeyed and did not pursue, then what rules were there to speak of? The rules set by the Nam Huang clan in the southern Phoenix Immortal City were just empty words. The other immortal emperors would follow suit and ignore the rules set by the Nam Huang clan. Ever since that incident, no other immortal emperors dared to kill anyone in the southern Phoenix Immortal City. Even the Dongshengshan Gate wouldn't dare to do so. The strength of the Nam Huang clan allowed the southern Phoenix Immortal City to flourish, becoming one of the safest cities in the immortal realms. That was why they came to ask for him. If it wasn't for the fact that the Nam Huang clan had existed for countless years, they would have assassinated him directly. Young Master Qin is our Nam Huang clan's guest. Even before the expert from the Nam Huang clan spoke, Nan Fengshinga already interjected, causing Dong Xingting to glance at her. This sentence was undoubtedly meant to help Qin Wentian. If not, there was no reason for her to speak before an elder. Qin Wentian naturally understood Nan Fengshinga's good intentions. This is... Dong Xingting smiled. Nan Fengshinga. Oh, so it's Holy Maiden. Dong Xingting smiled and nodded, being extremely polite. Young Master Dongsheng is too polite. Nan Fengshinga returned the greeting. My young master Zi Daoyang's death caused Zidi to be enraged. I hope that senior can understand Zidi's feelings. This man's death concerns the life of my young master. Senior, can you allow me to bring him away? Zidi will definitely be grateful to the Nam Huang clan. An expert from Zidi's sect spoke. He spoke before the Nam Huang clan's experts expressed their stance. Clearly, he wanted to exert some pressure. Zidi was a peak-stage immortal emperor character and was extremely powerful. The Nam Huang clan could ignore the Xian emperor and the Shao emperor, but the Nam Huang clan still had to consider Zidi's feelings. Everyone, you are really making things difficult for me. That expert bitterly smiled and shook his head. You are all from the sects of immortal emperors. Logically speaking, I shouldn't reject your request. But just like what Xinga has said, Qin Wentian is after all a guest of my Nam Huang clan. If I hand him over to you guys, how would the people of the immortal realms view my Nam Huang clan? His words were already considered a rejection. Hee hee. Qin Wentian laughed at this moment. He stared at Zidi's followers as he coldly spoke. Qin, have also heard of the name Zidi of the immortal realms. However, hearing is just hearing about him. I'm extremely disappointed when I actually came into contact with him. Zi Daoyang fought a fair battle against me and was injured. After that, he was assassinated by someone and Zidi actually vented his anger on me. Zidi's magnanimity is merely a so-so. The cause of Daoyang Gija's death is still unknown. We still don't know what role you played in it. Daoyang Gija's talent is extraordinary, but since he died in the city of ancient emperors, you won't be able to shirk your responsibility. Shaolin Yue coldly spoke. Qin Wentian swept his gaze over. His piercing gaze seemed to be able to penetrate through the hearts of people, staring at Shaolin Yue. Shaolin Yue actually didn't dare to meet his eyes. I spared your life so many times, yet you are still fanning the flames. Your cultivation base doesn't seem to have any improvement, only knowing how to seduce others with your beauty. You still dare to call yourself a genius? Shaolin Yue, you are truly despicable enough. Qin Wentian impolitely spoke. It was extremely rare for him to humiliate a woman like this. However, this Xiao Yue, he didn't spare her just once. Back then in the city of ancient emperors, Xiao Yue had provoked him many times and he couldn't be bothered to be calculative with her. However, this woman actually didn't give up. She even wanted to borrow Zidi's hand to take his life. You. Xiao Yue was so angered by Qin Wentian's insults that her chest heaved up and down. She could originally be considered a heaven chosen in the city of ancient emperors, but ever since she met this baleful star, Qin Wentian, it was like a heart demon was born. As long as Qin Wentian didn't die, it would be hard for her to resolve this heart demon. What about me? Qin Wentian laughed. He then turned his gaze to Xian Yang as he spoke, don't forget how your younger brother died. Back in the city of ancient emperors, you wanted me dead at every turn, and in the end, you were too useless and even dared to come to the Namhuang clan to demand for my release. Just based on you, Xian Yang, you aren't much weaker compared to Xiao Yue. I can squash you to death with a single hand. Don't forget that when you were ranked number 4 in the Immortal Ascension rankings, my cultivation base was only at the 7th level. How impudent! The subordinates of the Xian Emperor stared at Qin Wentian. Their voices were like ice. This fellow actually dared to be so arrogant even when facing the subordinates of 4 immortal emperors? He was simply lawless, completely not putting them in his eyes. Humph, Qin Wentian snorted. He swept his gaze over everyone as he continued, since everyone came from afar and came to the Namhuang clan to take my life, things are simple. Let's follow the rules of the Namhuang clan. Whoever wishes to ascend the Southern Phoenix Arena, regardless of life or death, can challenge me. I can fight continuously, and I can even give you a handicap of 1 or 2 levels. Even 3rd-level Immortal Foundation experts are allowed to challenge me. I will accept all challenges. Fight or not. Qin Wentian abruptly roared, causing everyone to lift their heads in shock. They saw a cold arrogance flickering in Qin Wentian's eyes, as well as a terrifying killing intent. It was like they weren't the ones who came here to kill Qin Wentian, but Qin Wentian was the one who wanted to kill them. Qin Wentian naturally had reason to be angry. Which of the 4 immortal emperors didn't bully others? Back then, the younger one was the one who bullied others and was killed by him. Now, the older one was here to demand for his release. Fine, since this is the case, let's be more direct and kill them one by one. In any case, he would temporarily stay in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. He wanted to see how these people would destroy him. Do you dare to fight? Qin Wentian saw that no one replied. He then roared again, if you don't dare then all of you scram back to where you came from. The faces of the 4 immortal emperors have all been thrown away. Dongxingting, didn't you always view me as an ant? Do you dare to ascend the Phoenix Arena with me? Gotcha. The wine cup in Dongxingting's hand directly shattered. If it was in the past, he would definitely fight without hesitation. But before he came to the Namhuang clan, he heard a piece of bad news. Qin Wentian had helped Namhuang Yunxi to seize the position of Holy Successor. And for the other Holy Successor characters who were competing against Namhuang Yunxi, Kang Yi and Jiang Ziyu were their allies. This caused them to have no choice but to speculate about Qin Wentian's combat prowess. Dongxingting was someone with an extraordinary status, he didn't want to fail miserably. This madman Qin Wentian actually dared to kill Kai Tianyi and annihilate the experts of the Dongshengsheng Gate, forming a deep grudge with the Dongshengsheng Gate. If Dongxingting really found an opportunity, he would definitely kill him. Although Dongxingting was very confident in his own strength, he was also very cautious. He felt that his life was extremely precious. Since Qin Wentian has already spoken, I have no objections. If all of you can kill Qin Wentian on the Phoenix Arena, my Namhuang clan will have no objections as well. What do you all think? An expert from the Namhuang clan took the opportunity to speak. He wanted to see how these immortal emperors would react to Qin Wentian's arrogance. Fine, let the Phoenix Arena battle begin then. An expert from Zidi's sect coldly spoke. A moment later, That expert from the Namhuang clan stood up and spoke, "I will personally prepare for the battle on the Phoenix Arena for all of you. Please." After speaking, he stepped out as everyone followed after him. Not long later, they arrived before a gigantic arena belonging to the Namhuang clan. Nanfeng Xinge and Jun Mengchen stood beside Qin Wentian only to hear Nanfeng Xinge reminding them, "Be careful. Since we agreed to fight on the Phoenix Arena, we can use any methods, including immortal-ranked weapons. Remember not to be careless." Qin Wentian nodded lightly to Nanfeng Xinge, indicating that he understood. The Phoenix Arena required the agreement of both parties before one could fight on it. Once both parties agreed, it meant that there was no way to resolve the conflict. Since both parties agreed to a life-and-death battle, there was no longer any need to talk about fairness. Since both parties were willing to fight, any methods could be used, as long as they could kill the other party. The disciple from Zidi's sect transmitted his voice to someone beside him. That person nodded and stepped out. Coldly, he glanced at Qin Wentian as a terrifying killing intent flickered in his eyes. His cultivation base was at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. Qin Wentian and that person both walked up the arena and activated the light screen. Instantly, the shadow of an ancient phoenix enveloped the entire arena, signifying that the battle could begin. Rumble. A terrifying sense of danger instantly locked onto Qin Wentian. Fast, too fast. The moment his opponent attacked, it was already a sure kill move. His silhouette directly vanished from sight as a terrifying killing intent bore down on Qin Wentian, so fast that even Immortal Foundation experts had no time to react. Bang! A deafening sound of collision rang out. Powerful runic light circulated around him as a sword light appeared, accompanied by a drop of fresh blood. From the start till the end, Qin Wentian stood there unmoving. The demon's sword had already pierced into his opponent's throat. Shameless. Dongxing Ting coldly spoke. At the instant the battle started, Qin Wentian actually detonated a defensive immortal talisman. He had long been prepared and was waiting for his opponent to unleash a sure-kill attack. By using the talisman to block it, he would be able to easily kill his opponent. Qin Wentian slowly pulled out the demon's sword as his cold eyes stared downwards. On the Phoenix Arena, everyone was using all sorts of methods to kill their opponent. What shamelessness was this? Chapter 1056. In the immortal realms, to those with extraordinary statuses, they would naturally disdain to use such defensive immortal talismans. Their status was the first layer of protection, and they would also have the protective immortal sense of their elders protecting them. If that wasn't enough to protect their life, defensive immortal talismans were basically useless. In addition, these defensive immortal talismans that could withstand the attacks of Immortal Foundation experts weren't cheap at all. Only stellar martial cultivators who had no background and had to depend on themselves would be willing to exchange for some to protect themselves. Qin Wentian actually used one. Qin Wentian had already exchanged for some of these defensive immortal talismans when he saw them in the southern Phoenix Immortal City. He was different from Dongxing Ting and Zi Daoyang, he still had to rely on himself and had many enemies. It was better for him to be more cautious when tempering himself outside. There was no need to fear having too many life-saving methods. In any case, although he wasn't considered very wealthy, he wasn't poor either. He could borrow the power of the immortal weapons in the Drift Snow City and forge one at any time. It was just that Qin Wentian didn't expect that he would be put to use so quickly. When he heard Nanfeng Xinge's warning, he knew that once the battle started, Dongxing Ting would instantly kill him. Hence, he didn't hesitate and crushed a defensive immortal talisman to block his opponent's attack. At the same time, he used the demon's sword seizing life, moving as fast as lightning. Qin Wentian's gaze landed on Dongxing Ting as he spoke, "What a pitiful man. The son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor doesn't even have the courage to fight." Rumble. Dongxing Ting's aura erupted forth as he walked towards the Phoenix Arena. His patience had already reached its limit. However, the person beside him pulled his arm and transmitted his voice, "Your Highness, this man is extremely sinister and ruthless. He has already formed a grudge with 4 immortal emperors and is extremely crafty. You have to guard against him. Humph, Dong Xingting's countenance was ice cold. If Qin Wendian could hear the voice transmission earlier, he would definitely be laughing uproariously. Dong Xingting didn't dare to fight against him, yet his opponent actually thought of such an excuse. Was he extremely sinister and ruthless? Ling, go and kill him. That expert spoke to a person beside Dong Xingting. The countenance of that person flickered as he nodded and walked towards the Phoenix Arena. This expert named Ling walked up the Phoenix Arena. The might of his immortal foundation erupted forth as a raging wind gusted by. An immortal ranked weapon appeared in his hand, it was a feather fan. Immortal energy gushed forth as he infused it. The feather fan in his hand suddenly expanded in size, transforming into a hurricane that could lacerate everything as it blasted towards Qin Wendian. That terrifying immortal law energy caused ear-piercing screeches as it tore through the air. Qin Wendian's immortal foundation erupted forth as runic light circulated around him. His body was like that of a fiend god, unshakable. He stood there arrogantly as an immortal light screen appeared around him, enveloping him within. However, the power of the fan grew more and more violent, unceasingly slamming into the light screen, causing cracks to appear on it. The incomparably powerful force caused Qin Wendian to retreat. Buzz! His opponent directly vanished from sight. In an instant, a silhouette appeared, the fan directly slammed into the light screen and actually broke it apart. An indomitable force swept towards Qin Wendian's neck, wanting to reap his life in a single strike. The demon sword in Qin Wendian's hand hummed as a terrifying demonic chi erupted forth from it. There seemed to be the shadow of a great rock within. This sword strike had been accumulating power for a long time, and right now as it swept out, a terrifying sword scar appeared in the air, slashing apart everything. Terrifying immortal energy clashed against each other as both of them instantly retreated. That expert moved with extreme speed, fusing with the law energy of the wind and moving with the wind. His silhouette flickered in the air above the Phoenix Arena, his silhouette was ethereal and it was hard to track him down. Qin Wendian stood there with his sword in his hand. His eyes were closed as the power of his immortal foundation gushed forth in all directions, creating a terrifying sword tempest. Buzz! After a few probing attacks, an attack that could sever everything gushed forth from behind Qin Wendian, aiming straight for Qin Wendian's head. That feather fan transformed into an invincible immortal weapon, gleaming with a terrifying golden luster. It was even sharper than a sharp blade. Every feather on the fan was as sharp as an immortal sword, slashing towards Qin Wendian's head. A sever character appeared in the air, exuding boundless might. Roar! A deafening roar suddenly burst out. Huge and terrifying divine elephants appeared in the sky, suppressing everything. The entire space seemed to have stopped at this moment. The cultivator who was charging at Qin Wendian felt that he had fallen into a supreme suppressive force at this moment. His body was extremely stiff, and it was difficult for him to attack. No! A terrifying beam of sword light slashed over. That cultivator howled in rage as his sword slashed out. From the bottom to the top, a straight line of blood appeared. His body fell from the air as he was killed. Qin Wendian walked to the side of his opponent and took his immortal ranked weapon and interspatial ring. These were the spoils of war that belonged to the victor. How could he be polite? Sword chi gushed forth, enveloping the cultivator's body. In an instant, the cultivator's body vanished into thin air, not a single trace of him was left behind. Who else? Qin Wendian stared at the experts from the four immortal emperors below. His countenance was as cold as ever. Since all of them wanted his life, why would he be polite? He would kill each of them. Although this wouldn't be able to cause any serious injuries to the four immortal emperors, at the very least, he wanted to tell them that if they wanted Qin Wendian's life, they would have to pay a price. After that, several more experts walked up to the Phoenix Arena. Without any accidents, all of them died in the hands of Qin Wendian. No matter what methods they used, Qin Wendian seemed to be able to deal with them. At the most crucial moment, he would deal a fatal blow, killing all the experts from the four immortal emperors. It was as though he knew that ordinary third-level Immortal Foundation experts wouldn't be able to kill Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's combat prowess had far surpassed their expectations. "Senior, this one bids my farewell." At this moment, Zidi's followers clasped their hands to the experts from the Namhuang clan as they spoke. That expert from the Namhuang clan asked, "Are you all not going to stay in the Namhuang clan for a few days?" "No need, we will pay a visit again if there's a chance." Zidi's followers shook their heads and smiled. After that, they excused themselves. Dong Xingting coldly glanced at Qin Wentian as he spoke, "I will let you be arrogant for a few more days. I will definitely take your life." "Coward." Qin Wentian only spat out a single word, his words filled with humiliation. Dong Xingting was so angered that his body trembled. He flicked his sleeves and snorted coldly as he turned and departed, radiating a terrifying killing intent. "If the old dog asks, remember to help me tell him that his life is mine. I, Qin Wentian, will take it sooner or later." Qin Wentian icily spoke. Dong Xingting stretched his hand out and grabbed towards the side. A thunderous boom rang out as a gigantic boulder shattered into pieces. "Also, trash like you actually dared to have delusional thoughts about Qing, er? Even a crow wants to climb up to the phoenix. How pathetic." Qin Wentian spoke again, returning the humiliation Dong Xingting gave him back to Dong Xingting in the past. His immortal sense could clearly see that Dong Xingting's handsome countenance was contorted, filled with a malevolent killing intent. An ant-like character back then actually dared to use the same method he used back then to humiliate him. Dong Xingting's killing intent towards Qin Wentian had already climbed to the extreme. Most probably, as long as there's a chance, Dong Xingting would definitely kill him. Qin Wentian walked down the Phoenix Arena. Staring at the departing silhouettes, Nanfeng Xinga spoke in a light voice, "These people came prepared. Although the Namhuang clan didn't succeed, they wouldn't give up so easily. I'm afraid they would choose to remain in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. Don't worry, as long as they are in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City, no one would dare to act recklessly. Even someone as strong as Zidi would have to consider the consequences before acting recklessly." An elder of the Namhuang clan spoke. "Many thanks, Senior." Qin Wentian thanked. No wonder the Taishan Immortal King under Emperor Qianbian supported him to come to the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. This city was truly different from the rest. "Don't worry about it, this is what we should do. You protected Namhuang Yunxi and helped her to become the holy successor. If the Namhuang clan handed you all over, wouldn't our Namhuang clan become a laughingstock?" That old man coldly snorted. To think that they could even think of this. Most probably, Zidi is too arrogant and thinks that his face is big enough. "Is Zidi very strong?" Qin Wentian asked. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor, the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor added together wouldn't be able to match up to Zidi. The immortal emperors under Zidi are all characters on the same level as the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor. Zidi is truly a character with great ambitions. The elder of the Namhuang clan spoke. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. There were naturally differences in strength among immortal emperors. For example, back then during the Particle War, the white-robed immortal king, Bai Wuya, alone was able to turn the tides of the war. However, since you are being watched by the disciples of the four immortal emperors, you have to be more cautious. They wouldn't dare to act in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City, but once you leave the city, don't reveal your whereabouts. Although your combat prowess is strong, if they send immortal kings to act, they would be able to kill you instantly. The elder reminded. Junior understands. Qin Wentian nodded. At this moment, a voice drifted over from the depths of the Namhuang clan. This voice was the sound of a bell. That elder turned his head and stared in the direction of the ancestral lands of the Namhuang clan. He smiled and spoke to Qin Wentian. Namhuang Yunxi has exited her seclusion. Let's go and take a look. She finally exited. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness.